in terms of like priority ever since.
Yeah.
So.
Well, but we can't completely turn off the idea. I get you there. And with them banning out the Phobias, that looks like one route that they could take if they decide to go for it. If it's not going to be a damage EXP laner, Team Liquid Philippines can still go for something tanky like a Tarizla and whatnot. And considering that they're picking up a Badang, it's a really great ban because Team Liquid Philippines are playing a very tight formation. Glue is still up on the board. I didn't forget Glue this time. Either of these two teams could pick up Glue and it would be good.
I love the Masha though. Talking about that, Mitch.
Oh.
Send that bomb everywhere on the map and make Falcons wonder if there is a wild Masha in a bush somewhere.
Yeah.
I mean, they have the diversion, right? So, oh, but the Mathilda went through. So the Lucas-Mathilda combo.
Yeah.
It'll be present for Team Falcons, and even Super Marco will have a way easier time to get out of trouble.
Flying Q.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure we're going to see that again. Falcons rotate around the map fast. I think Team Liquid Philippines, either they match it with a Benedetta again in the EXP lane for the rotational speed, or they double down on a tight formation, slow front-to-back composition with something like a Glue or Tarizla in the EXP lane. It's very tanky on the side of Falcons with a slower front line with a Basha and or Lucas. So an X-Borg in the EXP lane might make some sense as well. So a lot of options for Sanford. It's up to them to pick their poison. Rockhart mentioned the Gata Kacha earlier. Oh! Bring it out, you called that Arlott finally showed up. And we get a Franco to boot.
Oh, that's crazy. I love how crazy this is for Team Liquid. We were asking for new stuff.
Yeah.
We were asking them to remove their fear getting into this draft, and they did it.
Oh my goodness.
I wonder if Falcons are just going to dive in to get the vision and pick up a Selena for few right away, or are they going to try to play it safe?
Will they, what else is there? Oh, the Pyramus is there too.
Uh-huh.
If they ever want to like survive the fight a little longer.
Yeah, they have Faramis, they have the Eve. Oh, good call there, Brigida. Faramis locked in by few.
Oh my gosh.
Oof, okay.
Insane.
The Faramis wants to stick close together, but Team Liquid Philippines are good against that. But Falcons can rotate around the map faster, so I'm at a 50-50 here. Brigida.
It's always been a 50-50 whenever I see the Titans of MLBB. But this time I'm just so excited to see the entire throwback on the Louis Arlott combo in the side of Team Liquid Philippines. I feel like it'll add another element of surprise. But hopefully it works for Team Liquid Philippines.
All right, I hear you, Liquid Curly.
Okay, I'm sorry, Falcons guy.
Nah, don't worry, it's gonna be a good one.
It's the legendary face-off here. Representing, you got to rep. It is going to be the Cavalry or the 2% squad. I love that. That's a new title. So we're going to go into it, into the Land of Dawn for game number 1. Lower bracket finals, best of 7 casters. Let's go.
For more than a year now, we have been an audience to one of the most electrifying and must-watch rivalries in all of MLBB sports. This time, only one of them moves forth through the brackets. This is a clash of titans. Once more in pursuit of immortality. At your service, my name is Leo, here with Ingan and Brigida. Ingan, did you see that Faramis coming?
I didn't, but considering it's few, the way he saves Team Falcons acting as the captain, you cannot disregard Faramis when it comes to Team Falcons.
Yeah, it's been a storyline we've been discussing even yesterday with Leo on the panel, how Team Falcons just seems to always be ready to save one another whenever it's needed.
Yeah.
And it's not just that, like individually, they're really looking prepared. I mean, look at those 2 Purifies on Few and Okwin.
Yeah, we saw this yesterday, but in the hands of Tlph 2. They're revitalized also from Flaptz with the Baksha. But if you can recall correctly, we've been seeing a trend wherein players actually, use the heroes that they had trouble with. They want to prove something this time. Few using the Faramis. This was the hero he used when they lost against Tlph early on in the playoffs.
Oh, that's such a throwback, right? It just happened the other day, and it has struggled indeed to quite some extent. But I think we could say the same for the Fredrin. That was also a losing hero for Team Liquid Philippines the first time they decide to show it up. But I feel like this time there is a significant difference in terms of how they're able to complement what the Fredrin can offer, especially when it comes to the team fights. They're not gonna just leave anyone behind and okay, that was close for a few.
I think Liquid wants to start the demolish Falcons formation.
Yeah.
That's step 1. You mentioned in the draft that Falcons want to do that. Liquid already starting, just the first turtle in. Few put down a third of his health. Another call by JP, turtle started.
Imagine if that hook connected.
Yeah.
But now the turtle has been started. Flcn trying to zone him out. Here comes the Unleash, the beast coming in from Tlph. Who's gonna get the turtle? Sanji secures it. Here comes another realm from Few. Will the clash still continue on as Tlph disperse?
No kills for Falcons.
Yeah.
They lose the turtle in some freak of nature accident. Sanji scores it. What's going on?
Yeah, and Team Liquid Philippines didn't have to use much of their resources. There wasn't the final slash that came in from Sanford. He just went in, the members of Team Falcons, just to disturb them, just to disrupt whatever plans they had, and just dashed away, used the vengeance out once he got the job done. And fortunately for them, they were actually able to secure it through Sanji, but that was a close call for Team Liquid.
A lot of action so far from the XP lane to the mid. First turtle spawned there. Second will be going back to the same spot. How about the gold lane? Let's talk about that, how perfect the BPI gold difference. It looks like a lot of the gold is on where it matters for Falcons. They have a small lead, very, very small lead.
Yeah, this is what you expect from Super Marco, right? He's been always the guy to be so consistent in terms of the farming. He almost never gets left behind or delayed on the farm, which is why this is surprising to see how OM probably really wants to get back at all the chances he wasn't able to perform as much in the previous day.
And that's why he's calling on Daddy JP. JP, let me try to get a free kill here. Ogwin to the rescue. So far, both teams just checking range, making sure that this next turtle will be a better go. Because again, a freak of nature, like how often does that happen?
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned that in terms of range and reach, Team Falcons has it all. In terms of reach, there's the Baksha paired up with the Mathilda, and range from Super Marco, so they can be as aggressive as possible because the extended team fights clearly will favor later on Team Falcons.
Damn straight. While Liquid wants to play in that short range, they're playing with jabs, they're playing with straights, maybe a few hooks, but nothing to check range really, except for that hook. That's the only thing that they want, and I mean hook like a punch and a hook like an actual hook, legit. Daddy JP changing the game. The last time we saw Franco in the playoffs was what? In the hands of Yaoi. And that was a valiant effort, but now second turtle spawning, upper quarter, Tlph versus the scene, Tlph holding ground.
Again, Tlph will try to go for the background. Is it going to be a bloody hunt? On to Few. Few's the first man down, circling Eagle already committed down as Tlph goes in with the Unleash. The beast. They might go for Sanford. Shockwave Blast wasn't enough to tear him down. Team Falcons lost their captain.
Falcons back to business, taking that turtle down. Half health, JP, no ult. Maybe has a hook. Diversion play.
Okay. Now, still Tlph will secure it. Tlph still wanting to go for more, but right in the nick of time, Few comes in with another realm. Might go right after JP, but the save from Tlph was there. Energy eruption to bring down 2. Wanna make it 3 as Sanji picks up 2.
A devastating finish for Falcons. Not a turtle, not a kill, it was all Liquid.
And it was too clean of a call from Sanji as well. He laid out the diversion for Tlph just to get to the turtle, for him to be able to use the retribution. And that entire team fight took long enough. Yes, we did say that Falcons would be the ones winning if it took too long, but at that point it was too long. They were no longer having their skills, and Sanford was able to come back to the fight.
You know, Tlph has been doing a lot. Considering the fact that JP is on the Franco, you can expect him to go with the Winter Crown first for his priority item. So Tlph will be the main tank of Tlph.
Yeah, Daddy JP was the patsy there. They were afraid of him, so they did not check what was in the bush, and it was a wild Tlph. What happened there? What?
Oh, it seems like they found Ogwin, who was simply trying to provide some information as well for Super Marco, since there are a lot more faster rotations from Team Liquid Philippines happening right now.
Oh God, Tlph right in Marco's face. Here comes Kyle and Flap.
Forced reaction there from Team Falcons to give enough space again for Super Marco. Here comes the Shield Unity. Tlph getting caught out by 4. You have to watch out for the hook, because there is Daddy JP again. As Sanji picks up one more. NetherRealm paired up with the ultimate coming in from Tlph, but he cannot out-sustain anything Tlph is throwing at them.
A second off timing. It's the same trap that Falcons fell for post-turtle. That's literally... Oh my God, one more!
Unbelievable timings from Team Liquid Philippines, and they're looking for more!
Diversion to Marco. Sanford with the final slash. beats the kill off to Sanji, and a huge, strong start for the Cavalry.
I think it's safe to say this is what they call in the business a liquid stampede.
We haven't seen this yesterday. They missed doing this kind of gameplay, and it's so interesting to see how confidently they answer back to hold on.
Oh, even with the Purify, you can't do that with the ult of the Franco. Few again will drop down in exchange for the turtle Tlph will be getting.
A Pyrrhic victory for Falcons. They sacrifice Few for a short-term goal. That is the last turtle of the game, but they lose top lane tier 1. Liquid are winning trades.
Yep, it's been a very efficient early game so far. 10-1 is the kill score. And you see how dominant Team Liquid Philippines are playing this game. They're making use of the surprise element yet again.
Speaking of surprise, Tlph did not expect that as the turret down bottom also goes down.
The way Liquid is playing, I hate to say it, it seems personal. This is for the reverse sweep. This is for that sweep we lost yesterday. I mean, Falcons had nothing to do with that, but they are proving to the Cavalry, to the world, that this is how they play.
Oh, Tlph jumps in. There comes the Energy Eruption and Circling Eagle. Super Marco wants to dish out the damage to try and save the mid lane turret, but the Stampede cannot be contained.
At this point, Team Liquid Philippines are just able to deal with whatever strengths Team Falcons has when it comes to the team fight. Despite the presence of the Unleash the Beast, despite the presence of the Netherrealm, Team Falcons, they use all those resources at once, but it's not enough.
Netherrealm seems nothing but a blankie to Team Liquid Philippines ammo. Like, this is legit firepower they're playing with. I didn't expect that much damage to come out of this lineup this quick. Another diversion being set up here by Sanji. Falcons not falling for it, not a third time.
Oh, but they have to watch out because Sanford has his flicker and ultimate ready to be expended. Oh, a response from Team Falcons as Tlph jumps in. Zaman Force drop down. Tlph with the Unleash the Beast. First man down. There is Tlph. Few comes in with another round, but a beautiful hook once again from JP. Super Marco survives though, but not for long. Two will fall down in exchange for two. Clash still going on. Tlph sets his eyes on Sanji. Might be able to take him down, but Sanji, the chef is cooking now.
Ogwin coming in, circling Eagle, trying to close the gap, takes down JP. And it's him and Sanji. Tlph going for purple, steals it, Sanji staying.
Oh, diversion, Sanji's gonna back off now. After that long clash, it seems like still Tlph won that trade.
It was insane. There was a beautiful block that Tlph already attempted to do. He tried to block off Tlph and whoever wanted to go in from Team Falcons, but there was another route that was available. So Tlph got his hands on Oheb, on Sanji. He was able to find those two members and zone them long enough so Team Liquid Philippines lack the necessary damage for the front lines for them to do and replicate what they've been constantly doing in the first few team fights.
Yeah, and not to mention, out of the 5 Falcons ready to charge in, JP was on point with his Iron Hook. He got the bulletproof.
Marco couldn't flicker out of range. There was just too much happening in the trenches, in the paint, as I like to call it. Liquid now, starting the dance. They're aware that Falcons are here. I don't know if they know what's in the Y brush. Out of range, out of vision. Few and Ogwin. Marco taking the position. Oh, we're waiting for the diversion here. Watch out for Sanji.
Yeah. You gotta watch out, although they showed all of them. They're going for Flap.
Trying to go for Flap. Energy Eruption already casted down. Tlph popped his Revitalize. Tlph caught Falcon out of their position, and now they're in full control of this Lord.
Nothing up, Liquid sleeves. Safe for now. Taking control of the pixel brush. Falcons, though, very cautious. They're afraid. They're respecting this almost 5,000 gold lead.
Yeah, if it's not going to come from the diversion of Sanji, it's going to come from the final slash and flicker from Sanford. And Team Falcons are wary of that. That's why they cannot just come in at any given moment. Sanford good with the zone. Tlph 8k gold health left for the Lord. Tlph jumps in with the Unleash the Beast, and Tlph secures it. Final slash coming in from Sanford as they bring down Tlph as well. They flicker in. They caught Few. They sandwiched Few. And now a diversion to cut off the exit route of Team Falcons. Tlph jumps in. Super Marco with the Rhapsody going to pick up one. But OM answers back. And a wipeout for the Cavalry.
They take no prisoners. Dog walking Falcons after the Lord. Trading Sanji for it and everything else on the map.
It was JP on that perfect timing with the bloody hunt. Tlph went in, but the moment they were about to fight for the retry battle, there was the bloody hunt that was waiting for him.
How often does it happen that the big dog gets the one bitten down on? That's what we needed to bite. Again, JP has been a man possessed. He's been in a trance. Bite Few when it matters. Bite Marco when it matters. Now it's bite Kyle when it matters.
Now Team Falcons has to face the fact that the Lord is sieging in onto the top lane with the lead established by Team Liquid. They can get not just one, but maybe even two inhibitor turrets. So Team Falcons forced to defend this. Circling Eagle jumped in as Kyle TZ goes in with the Unleashed on base. Sanji OM got demolished. Few with a clutch at the realm. Sanford's left to defend for himself against 4 members though. Will he be able to escape? But a pull coming in from Few will shut him down. 3 members down for Tlph.
You mess with the dog, you get bit.
Yep.
Falcons clapping back.
Yep, it was a very decisive call from Team Falcons. The moment they saw that Sanford already used that final slash and was unable to connect it onto anyone, they just immediately called for the engage. There went the circling Eagle, there went the Unleash the Beast, and last minute, even the Netherrealm, just so that they could fully commit, even just onto Sanford, because they really want to take any kill that they can at this point.
It's not even the kit that Liquid didn't consider. It was just the damage output Falcons had. What was that, 6K between them?
Yeah.
And still Falcons were punching that hard?
Yeah.
Yeah, Liquid got that coming.
Yeah, unfortunately for Falcons, they only lost 1 inhibitor turret in exchange for 3. Was able to even take away the mid lane turret plus the purple buff away from Carl CZ. So now, slowly, they're diminishing the lead.
And that is why Falcons took that fight up top. They knew that the wave in mid wouldn't crash in so hard, and they risked it. They let that turret go down to half health, and now they can recover. They have about a minute of peace on the map because Lord is spawning in about 30.
Yeah, and if you saw the goals earlier between these two teams, it's not that far. It's not that too big of a gap that exists between Team Liquid Philippines and Falcons on a lane-to-lane basis. And this is probably why Team Falcons is just as confident to engage as well. Like, they can rely on the damage that they can get from Super Marco, that they can rely on the damage that they can get from Kyle TZ. And it's surprising to see them in this kind of situation, despite the map control, despite the early dominance that Team Liquid Philippines has shown us. And that's what's terrifying, because Team Falcons, their lineup, they can just go in all in at once.
Maybe this is what I should have been worried about. Not the early to mid-game damage, but late game. Because look, if Oheb gets picked off, if Sanji gets picked off, where's the damage coming from? Are you going to get smacked by a Fredrin, by a Franco over and over again?
Yeah, and not to mention the heals that will be coming from Few and of course from Ogwin. But again, the surprise factor is still there for Team Liquid Philippines. If Team Falcons wants to play a 5-man unit as a team, Tlph has enough kit to individualize the formation of Team Falcons.
Yeah.
Yep.
They have complete item builds as well for their gold laners already. JP also picking up the fleeting time, so just one successful bloody hunt that they can eventually convert into a pick-off. Then that'll allow them to just proceed with the fights. Even though it becomes a prolonged team fight, it probably wouldn't be a problem.
All the more now, I think JP has to bite the right target. And I prefer he bites down on damage dealers.
Yeah.
Bite down on Few, bite down on Marco, Kyle TZ if you can. Because if you bite down on a defensive character like this, oh my god!
Everyone's jumping in with their ultimates. Oh! Carl TZ secures the Lord. Here comes the Netherrealm. JP biting down with the Winter Crown also, but Carl TZ answers back with the Unleash the Beast. They're trying to go for Sanji. Here comes the clapback from Team Falcons, but Sanford with a beautiful final slash. The sacrificial play turned into a good play for the Cavalry. A 1-for-1 trade.
They back off!
Sanji!
Falcons knows they shouldn't be picking this fight. Sanji's in the base!
Sanji! The lone stallion! Might be able to do it though, but Kyle TZ jumps in the nick of time. But still, Tlph holds on because they have a Lord up top.
All right, I'll say this is mission success. They got into the base and they're going for it!
Oh, he wants to go in for the tower lock. Kyle TZ with the Winter Crown play. The minions have spawned, but every single member of Team Falcons now in the picture. Oh, will be able to do it though. A double kill for the MVP. Oh, we're trying to defend. There's a diversion play, a triple, and CL takes game 1.
From the flank, the Cavalry goes for a stampede Falcons didn't see coming. Game 1 goes to Team Liquid Philippines.
Sanji was mad! He wanted to get that game ended right then and there.
I didn't see it. I was staring at the fight. Apparently, He went for the diversion play. Red Morocco, did you see that?
Yep. We see it.
Yep.
Just processing on believing.
Yeah, up here, we're so close to the big screen in the arena. We were just both pointing at it. Oh, Sanji! Sanji! Oh,
That was literally us.
yeah, that was literally us. Oh, my goodness.
That was insane. It could have actually worked a lot faster.
Yeah, exactly. The signature low year in the hands of Sanji. If he's not MVP, I'm going to protest. I'm going to run down and scream, why isn't Sanji MVP? But I'm pretty sure he's going to be. The man deserves it. Damn good low Yi game, and Team Liquid Philippines as a whole played so well around the Sandman as he put Team Falcons to sleep in game number 1.
He's the Sandman. That's canon now, guys. This is Sanji making it happen for Team Liquid Philippines. This is the hero that was picked third during the draft. As you can see, 100% kill participation for Team Liquid. This guy is making it happen.
He sees everything with his eyes closed. That's how cold-blooded Sanji is. He was so good in this game. And honestly, it was his positioning in the first 2 turtle fights of the game that gave so much difficulty for Falcons as to why they could not get the snowball that they wanted. Because every time, well, turtle number 1, of course, this is how Sanji sees the game.
That's exactly the POV. This is POV with Sanji.
With his eyes. Yeah.
With his eyes closed, super focused on where the fights need to happen.
Yeah. And double kill early on. This was turtle fight number 2, but turtle fight number 1 saw the same story, and every time Sanji was just there with really good positioning. He would get caught out a couple of times, literally 2 times, but it was him being able to, number 1, turtle fight number 1, he was the one who miraculously got the last hit on the turtle, which meant that Team Liquid had shields, which meant Falcons couldn't convert into kills. Team fight number 2, for turtle number 2, we saw that it was Sanji holding a really good angle in the shrub. The Falcons just could not find that low Yi, and they were just wondering, why are these duality procs biting us in the behind every time we want to team fight? And for the rest of the game, it was just the diversion game that Sanji brought to the table.
Yeah, it was super low-key as well for Daddy JP and Sanford pushing and pulling people where they need to be.
Yeah.
For those duality procs actually make a difference.
Yeah, that's actually a great point. With the Arlott and the Franco together, it was like, this time, it was the cavalry, the horses rounding up Falcons saying, get over here, stay right there, and we're just gonna blast you with AoE damage.
Exactly, and it also helped so much. It made it so hard for Tlph's Lucas to actually hit the right targets. You can see the movement, right?
Yeah.
They're dodging those shockwave blasts time and time again.
Yeah, and the diversion player at the end that Sanji decided to call meant that Falcons had even more pressure, because I believe few, and it was another member of Team Falcons that could not recall back home, because another member of Team Liquid, I could be wrong, it could have been Carl TZ that was stopping them from going home. It was either Carl or Sanford, but Team Liquid overall played the much better game. What we said earlier in the draft, Team Liquid Philippines has a much better team fighting comp, sticking close together. Falcons wanted to fight into that, and they failed a lot in the early to mid game.
Yeah, not gonna lie as well, I like what Leo said, where, you know what, we might worry about damage here later on in the game, because when you get picked up, when OHEM gets picked off, you're gonna be really lacking. But you know what? Team Liquid Philippines kind of really probably noticed that and said, you know what, guys, we gotta finish this right here, right now.
Yeah, and a quick throwback to the meta that for the longest time people got so tired of, because that's all we saw, with the tanky fighter jungler era. During that time, we saw a fall off in the marksmen that dealt damage in bursts. What rose were marksmen that could deal continuous basic attack damage, i.e. the Claude, that being the best time for being a Claude player.
Even Iksha.
Yeah, even Iksha, even Melissa. So Carry, those heroes are good with longer team fights. Well, yes, Granger is still one of the best marksmen in the game, but it just goes to show Team Liquid Philippines went into this thinking, all right, how do we build a lineup that would make the Granger struggle, that even though Super Marco dealt 55,000 damage here, it would feel like he's not doing enough. Like, we look at the game and think, he could do a little bit more. Where is that damage? Because he deals damages in bursts. He's not like a carry, he's not like a Claude.
That's true. I mean, again, in Super Marco here with the flicker, had to dodge final slashes, had to dodge hooks, had to dodge bloody hunts,
Yep.
energy eruption from time to time. Imagine how hard it was for a Granger to actually do any damage here.
Yeah, it's so difficult here considering that Falcons drafted a lineup that are very dive. Once Flapteasy decides to pull the trigger in a fight alongside Ogwin, it's Super Marco is going to be left behind. 811 GPM for Super Marco.
Doesn't stop him though from being a rich guy.
Yeah, he was still able to farm. He did a tremendous job at that because Team Liquid Philippines, this is the trade-off that you get when you're roaming together as a 5-4 person hit squad alongside your gold laner. The gold laner's farm isn't going to be as high as the opposing gold laner because the opposing gold laner is trying to catch up with minion waves and creep kills. Meanwhile, yes, you're getting gold as the gold laner going around with the rest of the team getting kills, but you don't get as much gold if you were getting farm from the creeps and minions instead.
Yeah, it's so hard for Super Marco as well to get stacks on the Sky Piercer because the team in general had a hard time getting kills for him because he couldn't really go through and he was so busy dipping and dodging. So that's a big problem, right? So we're going to talk a little bit more about how maybe the Super Marco and the rest of the team were able to do it. But so far, so good. At least he was able to get the rich guy. And in fairness, there was a point where the lead shrunk down almost 2.5k around the end there. You know, maybe save for that last-minute play from Tlph. That could have been still a very close game.
Yeah, Team Liquid Philippines decided to play with their best strength, which is just being able to open up the map so well with the low E. So for the side of Falcons now, I think they're not going to give that low E anymore. They shouldn't. That is enough warning. At that point, the whole team has to gather together. Even the coach has to admit, yeah, let's never give the low yi to Sanji. And that might become the biggest trade of this game because Few plays a very mean low yi as well. So we're now going to be looking at the center of the map as the key trade in the draft, which mid laners are going to get picked up in the final compositions.
That's right. Chip might be in the docket if that happens, so we'll see. Those teams love the global. So for the meantime, though, let's take a breather, guys. Let's have a little bit of a fun here in the Champions Arena. Throw it over to our host. We got a few special guests for you.
Maraming salamat sa ating panelists. Here we are at the Champions Arena, and right beside me are the champions of the UAAP Esports Season 87. Everyone please give it up for De La Salle University. DLSU Green Aces, boys, it is so nice to have you here today. Pakilala naman kayo sa lahat ng ating mga manonood for everybody who doesn't know you yet.
IGN ko po, Gabowi. Yung role ko is gold lane.
My gen ko po is Caviar, and ngayon po, multi-role po ako ngayon.
Alright.
IGN ko po is Aspect, and role ko is Jungle.
Hello, I'm Ryu. IGN ko po ay Late Tuto, and role ko ay Support.
I'm Aaron po, tas role ko po is mid lane.
Ako po si Nek, and role ko po is XP.
All right, there we finally have it. Some familiar faces, right? A lot of familiar faces with this team right here. Matanong ko lang, aside from those who have played pro already, any first-timers na nanonood? First time? All right, first time. Sabi mo kanina, first time mo eh, pero hindi. Now, how does it feel watching dito mismo sa Champions Arena? You, because it's your first time. I want to know more about it. Kasi yung una mong panonood, ito pa mismo, lower bracket. So how does it feel to watch right now?
It feels different from YouTube and Facebook. Kasi
Okay.
You can see the players, their reactions.
Okay.
In-game reactions.
Okay, so it feels different because the action, you see it live,
Yes.
right? I think that's what you are saying as of the moment. Okay, I'm glad I got that quick. Now, in terms of the players naman, isa-isa kayo. Sino ba ang peg nyong player? Sino ba yung mga iniidolo nyong player dito mismo sa MPL Philippines? Gabo, ikaw muna.
Sa akin si Renny J.
Si Rene J, alright.
Sa akin po ngayon si Oeben Kelra.
Si Oheb at si Kelra, alright.
Ako si Carl TZ.
Carl TZ.
Sa akin si Baloy, pati si Kenji.
Baloy and Kenji. Parang coach niyo yun, ha?
Ako po si Carl TZ.
Carl TZ and
Sanford.
the Sanford. There we have it. I like it. Two of them from TLPH. Let's talk to the captain this time. I'm sure kasi na-cover namin yung mga ganap nyo eh. Kasama namin si Chantel, si Brigida, si Womi. I'm sure there's a lot of other, casters na nakasama natin doon. This time kayo naman ang tatanungin ko. May predictions ba kayo kung sino ang magiging champion of Season 15?
Napag-usapan namin kanina na eh. Sobrang hirap hulaan. Pero para sa amin, feel namin TLPH.
TLPH. So tingin mo mananalo sila. What's the score looking like?
Basta umabot ng Game 7 para sulit.
Basta umabot ng Game 7 para sulit ang bayad. I like it. May pakaba effect pa, DLSU. Maraming salamat for being with us today. Hopefully, maasama pa natin. Paano ba namin masusuportahan ang DLSU in terms of all of your matches?
Siguro supportan nyo po kami sa upcoming UAP season, pero matagal pa naman yan. Tapos may mga tournaments po kami na upcoming, like yung XCC, which is yung Infinix Cup, which is mangyayari this Sunday.
Tsaka yung MSL.
Alright, there we finally have it. Muli, maraming salamat to the DLSU Green Aces. It's nice to be here with you guys today. Now, we toss it over to Kalusi dahil meron daw siyang kasama doon. Kalusi, kamusta?
Hans, kasama ko naman dito sa kabilang banda ng Champions Arena. Palakpakan naman natin ang mga naggagandahang members ng MNL48! Hi girls, can you please introduce yourselves?
Hi everyone, I'm MNL48 Jamie.
Hello, I'm Andy. Hi, I'm Dana.
Hi, I'm Rihanna. Hi, I'm Line. Hello po, ako po si Rhea.
Hello, I'm CJ.
Hi, I'm Clariel.
Ayan, ang dami nila. Girls, this is your first time performing in front of the MPL crowd. Kamusta naman yung pakiramdam?
First of all, super big honor po for us to have a performance here because we too play Mobile Legends and we know how big of an event this is because we have audiences from all over the world watching us right now. So it's an honor to hype up the playoffs for today, right girls?
Correct.
That's so great to hear. And nabanggit mo na, naglalaro kayo ng Mobile Legends? Ano na bang rank nyo?
Ay, as someone na, ito mythic. As someone na walang oras maglaro, hanggang epic lang ako. Pero road to legend.
Grabe, ako nga warrior lang. As a simple girl.
Okay lang, basta proud, di ba?
Yes.
And ano ba bang pwede naming abangan sa MNL48? May mga upcoming shows ba kayo? Performances?
Yes, of course. In the month of June, we have a lot of performances coming up. And besides that, we have our 5th generation edition coming up. So you better stay tuned for that on our social media channels.
Ayan, naabangan namin yan. Invite nyo naman yung mga fans nyo na manood live dito sa Champions Arena.
MN Loves! Live na live dito ngayon. Kaya manood kayo at mag-enjoy tayo para supportahan ng mga teams na sinusuportahan natin.
Yes!
Sino bang team ang sinusuportahan nyo? Ayan.
Wag niyo po kaming awayin.
Secret.
Pero parehas. Safe answer.
Quick question, girls. Ready na ba kayo for game 2?
Siyempre! Ready!
Okay, ready na sila. So panel, balik sa inyo.
I told you we got a lot of surprises for you guys later on, and this is it. These are our champions for UAAP Season 87.
Yep.
That's Del Salle University, and of course, we got MNL48. This thing is national.
By the way, that was my alma mater.
There you go.
So yeah, so this is how it goes. It goes DLSU. So I still remember.
There you go.
Animo LaSalle. So a lot of star power.
So that's why you
today.
really are attracted to the green.
Yeah. Huh, that explains a lot. Yeah, that explains it. Yeah, that's the colors of my old university alma mater. It was also green and white.
That's right.
And sometimes yellow for the alternative jerseys. Huh.
All right, that explains a little bit. While Renmar's crossing that.
One less thing to talk about with my therapist.
We'll talk about that later. So right now, obviously, it's been a very interesting, to say the least, way to bring the old TLPH back into the playoffs, right? This is the TLPH that we have been waiting for, and the TLPH that we actually saw for the majority of the regular season.
Yeah, and it just feels vindicating, you know? Everything that we discussed heading into the draft, we saw it. Sanford on a hero that can deal more damage. that's what our lot brings to the table. And then with Team Liquid drawing back and really pulling the curtains, trying to stretch out what they could bring to the meta with the heroes that they decided to pick up, exactly what we saw. What we asked for from Team Liquid Philippines to show in this lower bracket finals, they've already shown right away in game number 1. They have set the bar. It is going to be up to Falcons now to follow that, because if this Liquid Stampede continues, that's going to be terrifying.
It is going to be terrifying. I think for Falcons got like you.
Oh, yes.
With what you're seeing here, we're going to have to bring in Brigida, because we are seeing old-style, old-school drafting here for Tlph. Let's see if they're going to continue this here. Again, not the Vendetta yet.
Yeah.
We're looking for that Vendetta maybe later on for Sanford.
Yeah.
Bring it back that flame. But we're going to have to see how Falcons also brings up. Brigida, how are you doing?
Hello, Brigadudes, Rockhart, Renmar, Renmarians, everyone in the chat. What did I say, chat? But yeah, it's been a really I don't know, surprising draft for Team Liquid Philippines, especially in game number 1. I can't imagine that they've been able to plan all that overnight.
Yeah, great shifts, and as we mentioned earlier, right away, the Loyi getting taken out. Rockhart mentioned the chip still taken out here by Falcons, while Team Liquid Philippines have taken out some of the strengths of Falcons, which is the jungle hero pool of Tlph, and taking away the Kalea, a strong flex pick for Falcons. So speaking of flex, are they going to try to go into this with a Baksha rush or go for the juice in for few?
Yeah, that's something we're going to look at, because like you mentioned earlier, Loyi was banned out by Team Falcons very early on. So weirdly enough, even the chip. So no global presence available except for maybe the Moskov later on.
Yeah.
So we'll see if that's going to be on the docket. I'm pretty sure Super Marco and Uma would love to pick that up.
Or maybe the Ranger, which will not be the option. It's going to be the Jushin indeed. And with the Harris banned out, Team Liquid Philippines will be able to stay away that Ranger we just mentioned. So Super Marco will have to use something else for this game. After how many games of already using the Granger, there's no Harith as well. So yeah, as you mentioned, it's the Moskov and the carry so far that he's been playing here in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think they, Falcons can go to the second phase without picking up their gold laner just yet.
Yep.
Considering that the Farsa is still available for Tlph to pick at pick number 3, which would mean a 1-1 could be turned off.
Yeah.
Plus, if Team Liquid Philippines decide to already show that they're going to be going for the tanky front to back lineup again, then Falcons can decide to pick up the 1-1 and or carry later on. So save the Super Marco pick for later, pick up a flex here, and your jungler for Tlph if possible, maybe the Hayabusa.
Oh, there it goes.
Badang has been really on fire so far in the playoffs. I think he's only not showed up in like maybe 1 or 2 drafts. So far, every single team has loved to pick up the Badang. Onyx Philippines also has, you know, Dilar, when he was guesting here, he highlighted that damage Badang is a real deal.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll see that sometime here, but so far the Kakashi Hayabusa picked up for Falcons as well.
And I loved how they picked this up here, since Renmar did mention the Farsa, so that can make Team Liquid Philippines think twice about whether or not they want to pick it up in this part of the draft, since they have to expect that there is going to be a Farsa or there is going to be a Hayabusa, but they still decide to pick up the Farsa nonetheless.
Yeah, they're willing to take that trade. Team Liquid Philippines don't overthink it. Second half of the draft, I think there we go, they take out the 1-1, as expected. Even though they picked up the Farsa for themselves, this is a double-edged sword, because Team Liquid Philippines are now telling Falcons, hey, we're probably going to go slow front to back again.
Now
historically, Farsa as well, like just very vulnerable to Hayabusas in general, as well as Badangs.
Oh, okay. So they take out the Lucas too, which was the hero that Tlph did pick up earlier, and that's actually one of the questions as well into the draft heading into the second phase. Like, where does this Baksha go for Team Liquid Philippines? Because at least in the playoffs, I feel this is the first time that they'll actually be picking up the Baksha.
Yeah. Okay. With them banning out the Moskov and 1-1, that leaves Beatrix and carry for Falcons. You know what, Team Liquid Philippines? Go for either the Ling or the Lance.
Oh.
I want the Lance.
I want the Lance too.
Give me the Lance, Liquid.
I love that. It's actually a hero that wins pretty well against a Hayabusa. You know, you can kind of just iframe out of a shadow kill. You can also just go ahead and take out that Zushin when you can.
Exactly.
Love it. I love that play.
Yeah.
Yeah, not going to be a focus here. Phobius. Man down at the very last.
And if ever there's a 1-1 pick coming, nah, there's no 1-1 pick anymore. But regardless of whatever marksman decides to show up for Team Falcons, right, they'll have a way to access it easily, aside from the Farsa and the Granger, which are already plenty of range for Team Liquid Philippines. So they save that hero for last. Like, be it the roamer or the jungler for Team Liquid Philippines, we aren't entirely sure just yet.
Yeah. All right, we already saw Roamhilda before coming in from Team Liquid, but I think that is an XP laner for Sanford, most likely.
Most likely. Right? We keep saying this, you know, but whenever we say that, there are just times where, you know, it doesn't happen. So I'm just going to stay open.
But with the picks right now, I feel like Carry seems like a really good option against Baksha and a Hilda. Clint is not out of the picture just yet. But yeah, the gold lanes are very hard right now.
Maybe Earthal, if Super Marco just wants to look at the matchup, plus it's going to be easier for him to avoid the feathered airstrike.
With the lane.
Yeah, because with the Beatrix and the carry, they're a little bit too slow.
Oh, what?
What? They still go Clint? Good call there, Rockhard, by the way.
I really feel like you're right.
Whoa.
I actually would have loved the Airfill, but yeah, the Clint, even in the hands of Keller, has been really inefficient, I would say.
So
look
far,
at that lane that you mentioned as well.
Yeah. So the best choices they could go for at that point, honestly, for Tlph. He was either the Ling or the Lancelot.
Yeah.
And even more so now with that last pick, Ling. Brigida, I feel like this Clint might have a hard time.
It will. It looks like it will. It has to consider the Farsa, it has to consider the Ling, and not just that, the Baksha just constantly trying to hunt him down. I mean, he does have some mobility skills, but there are just countless of ways for Team Liquid Philippines to actually catch up.
So in the Clash of the Titans here in the panel, I think the Liquid Girly and Falcons are in agreement. Liquid won the draft.
Yep, pretty much. Even I would agree with that one, 100%. Unless Super Marco can just pull off some really crazy stuff and make sure that his Clint stays relevant all throughout the game. But then again, history has proven that's very difficult.
Yeah.
So let's throw it over to our Land of Dawn. See how Falcons here we go.
Game 2 in this best of 7. First of the board is Liquid. Can Falcons, with their very specific draft, get on the board and equalize? At your service, my name is Leo here with Ingan and Brigida to bring you the action. If I may weigh in, I agree, on face value, Liquid won the draft, but Ingan, do you agree with me that these picks by Falcons, they're specific to them? Like, they know how to use these tools to get back into the series.
Yeah, not to mention, you know, when Flcn started to use these some sort of the badangs, the ones that require a lot of highly mechanical skills, he would default to the bakshas, the glues, whenever he doesn't feel like it. So in this case, he can be the bridge for Super Marco to have his power spike early on and dish out the damage, despite the high mobility that Tlph has with their lineup.
Yeah, and part of me is starting to consider what happens if the team fights take too long. Like, what if they just run for more than a couple of seconds for both Team Falcons and Team Liquid Philippines, right? Like, it looks to me that Team Falcons, their lineup might actually be somehow built for that to some extent too.
That's what I'm saying. The picks that Falcons went into game number 2 with are picks that have low downtime, I like to call it. They're picks that, again, don't ultimately just rely on their ultimate. And it makes sense. Look at Falcons' stats all throughout Season 15, right? They're #1 in kills, #1 in assists, and when it comes down to the late game, they are #1 in Lord control, just second in total Lord kills. But again, when it comes down to those big dances, those team fights that last a while, you know, Falcons, they let you know that they are here.
Yeah, one of the key reasons why is, of course, Ogwin is with his badang again, signature of the Unigo cousins. And who can forget their game yesterday, the game-ending set that Ogwin had with the badang that turned things around in their favor. Could happen now.
He said, there's 2 here, 2, I got 2.
Oh, actually, especially now that I feel they'll have a lot more means to create that space, you know? I mean, earlier it felt like they were mostly mid-range, so they always had to close in. But now I feel like there's a better distribution in terms of the positions we can expect from them to come from when the team fight actually happens later on.
Yep, better spatial coverage. When you're up front and personal, you got Ogwin. When you're at mid-range and you want to control where your opponents can go, you got Few doing this. Oh my lord, Sanji at half.
They're giving Sanji such a hard time right now. The Game 1 MVP even popped his Purify early on. So now Team Falcons resorting back to their control over the mid lane.
Yeah, and honestly, this is one of the biggest differences in game number 1. Team Liquid Philippines were always pressuring the mid lanes. They were always having an eye on either Few, on whatever you get to actually show yourself up in. And it can be the same with Sanford on the Hilda, but there's less, you know, Final Slash, there's less surprise, there's less threat for an immediate pickoff.
Yeah, not to mention, oh, wait a minute though. Tlph
here
alongside Kyle Tlph will draw the first blood with a weak shadow kill onto Sanford.
Oh, Kyle Tlph coming up as well.
Kyle Tlph jumps in. Tempest of Blades onto Kyle Tlph. No shadow, so he might be able to take him down. That was a well worth the trade for Team Liquid Philippines. But again, Ogwin alongside Few, just right on cue, brings down JP.
Nothing comes for free. Falcons able to clap back, come out on top, 2-1.
Yeah, and just as we mentioned how Team Liquid Philippines, their fast rotations coming out of the EXP lane still might be one of their strengths. Team Falcons decide to focus on that lane first. And just when there was an immediate response from Carl Tlph, who would have expected that there could be enough ways for Flap to actually hold the two of them under that turret?
That's the beauty of the new glue. I was tinkering with it earlier this week, and I'm like, how is this legal? How is Muton already changing a very strong hero into a stronger hero? And that's why Liquid, they're always keeping their eyes on bottom lane, on XP.
Yeah, I mean, who could forget the performance of Kirk yesterday with the glue? Flawless KDA. So now if Tlph channels his inner Kirk, things could go well for Team Falcons as they start things off with this turtle. Sanford and JP providing a lot of vision here for Carl Tlph. Who's going to get the turtle first? Because Kyle Tlph just got zoned out, but he has a shadow. He might go in again. Here comes the Tempest of Blades now as he's trying to go for more. First blood drawn again for Kyle Tlph onto Sanford. Make it two because Owen picks up Carl Tlph as well. And they're not even done. Tlph with the spread. Few also. Owen was able to walk away. And JP, no, he got surrounded by 3 and lifted up by Few to feed off the kill to Kyle.
As the great Theo Womi Ignacio said, disgusting. What is Falcons doing with this lineup? Kyle Tlph with a steal!
What?
Grand Theft Turtle for the young goat.
Falcons took too long. They were relishing in the victory, and then in comes Carl.
And to be fair, that was already one of the things we talked about. We saw it in action. The team fight took too long. Falcons were actually able to win it out. But it took too long that Carl Tlph, with the very short death timers that we have, was able to get back into that turtle pit and secure it for Team Liquid Philippines.
The ultimate opportunist. Much like Seth Rollins in Mania. He's coming to get it. That was turtle number 1, folks. Turtle number 1.
It blindsided them again, but still they were able to pick up 3 or 4 kills during that trade. So Team Falcon still has a 1.6k gold lead, and they're reverting back again to the control of the mid lane because even Sanji's having a hard time today.
Yeah, and it's honestly interesting to see Team Liquid Philippines still try to go for the fights, go for the contests, even though we acknowledge the fact that it might take a little more time for them. They're on the Ling, and yes, it is an assassin. Yes, there is some early game presence, but the items are a necessity for you to feel the full threat of this hero.
I guess it's a blessing in disguise that Carl Tlph is who he is, and he always looks for these little advantages. It keeps Falcons' lead down to a manageable 1,500. And yeah, you can show face, but when you're up against Few, who's playing the way he is, I think that Liquid Stampede in Game 1 woke him up.
Yeah. And I mean, even if you're going to look at the matchup between Tlph and Sanford, pretty much you cannot see that Sanford's freely roaming or being the secondary roamer right now.
He can't. As the Hilda, he can't. Oh, action in mid!
Action in mid. Kyle Tlph already popped the Wiki Shadow kill. JP soaking up the damage, but Few comes in with the Lantern Flare. Tlph jumps in once again, and Sanford goes for the back, but Few has his Crimson Beacon. Kyle Tlph got stunned out. Point blank shot right in the face as Owen brings him down.
Oh, they're still going. JP had Flap on him. Carl Tlph looking to get some retribution.
Oh, Owen had to pop his ultimate to delay the attack of Tlph. Tempest of Blades casted down by Carl Tlph as they break down Owen. That's one member down again for Team Falcons.
OHEB was too free, and Team Liquid Philippines had all squad shadows covered. So wherever Tlph wanted to go for an escape, there was at least one member of Team Liquid Philippines ready to answer back. But phew!
What was that? How did Sanji... All right, it was off camera. Who knows what was in the vision of Sanji? He popped the Venom Airstrike for a snipe on Few.
You know, we were just talking about that the lineup of Tlph compared to game number 1 lacks surprises because they don't have the Franco, they don't have the Arlot. But Tlph surprised us with a solo turtle kill, but now Tlph with a Wiki Shadow kill, Sanji was able to wings by wings. And just like that, also Sanji never fails to amaze us with a solo kill onto Few a while ago.
Not even using the Purify. So he's fully equipped for what may happen in this next objective, which clearly both of these teams are looking to set up for. Ogwen and Flcn are already within the area, and so are JP and Sanford.
All right, we're back to equilibrium. Falcons can contest. Liquid stole the last one, but it looks like this has their name on it. Tlph spots Sanford.
Now we're seeing Sanford do his thing, zoning out Tlph to give enough space for Tlph for an uncontested turtle take. A while ago, before or after even the turtle steal of Tlph, Falcon was looking at the 1.6k gold lead, and now it's on the side of Tlph.
Exactly. It's the way the lead has shifted so fast. But now Team Falcons, they're trying to look for ways to regain it back. But it seems like this is just pure determination from Team Liquid Philippines. They're just not letting anything go through.
The Filipino sniper catching Few again.
Oh, and now Tlph on to Super Marco. He was able to dodge it out, but here comes the stun from JP. Even flickers in. Ogwen with a counter though. As Super Marco falls down, here comes Tlph once again. A weak shadow kill casts it down. Sanji pops his Purify. JP caught in the middle. And I think Flcn was able to grab onto JP. The clash will disperse here, but Tlph, they got 2 kills.
Oh, Kyle's not done. Shadow in!
But the stun! And now the counter from Ogwen! And now the ult from Sanji! And a killing spree for our MVP! OM still knocking down turrets!
Done!
Whoa!
Yet!
Imagine that! It could have looked so good! For Team Falcons, that was a beautiful fist break, or just the fist crack coming in from Ogwen to capture Tlph and actually shut him down. But look at how Team Liquid Philippines decided to still proceed with the fight. But hold on, Few. Does he want to go for this?
Tlph with a Defiant Sword. Another stun from JP as he brings down Few. Ogwen with a beautiful counter, though, as Sanford was able to flicker out Sanji again with a feathered airstrike to stop Team Falcons from extending further. And now Tlph are looking at the 3k gold lead. Almost all extended clashes favor them.
Only God knows when these teams will stop fighting. They will start and stop, and then maybe they'll make their minds and go for something. I think that's what mid was all about. Liquid went straight for that tier 1 up top when they said we had enough. And then they kept going.
Yeah, and it really feels like it's always been Team Liquid starting the fight. It's always them looking for all the fights to happen against Team Falcons, whereas we haven't seen any clear intention from Team Falcons just yet to be the ones first, where we haven't seen Ogwen go in just yet with a flicker, fist break, fist crack combo to capture anyone. At most, it's probably Few, but earlier it felt like it was zoning.
Now Sanji cast a feathered airstrike, immediately bursted down Ogwen. They're trying to go for a response with a Wiki Shadow kill, but JP just has that Revitalize to save everyone. And Ogwen falls down.
Like a herd of stallions, Liquid just clump off whenever Kyle presses the shadow kill. That's the what, 3rd time that they've done this defensive maneuver?
3rd time Tlph playing as one unit. And now taking full control of the game. 3.6k gold lead already. And look at the gold difference between the 2 gold leaders. Almost 1.5k.
That's a lot. We haven't seen the Clint really provide much for Team Falcons just yet, despite the presence of already the Endless Battle and the Malefic Roar. And JP has already built the Radiant Armor and the Dreadnought, so he's pretty much able to tank a lot of the damage that will come in from Falcons, because mostly those who are going to go up front are Flap and Few. And now that's just all the more reason for Team Falcons to carefully consider what they're doing next.
Team Falcons, I don't know if they're considering even a contest. In my books, I wouldn't. You're down 4k. Liquid has full control of the pit. JP gets caught here.
Oh, they're going to look for a trade. So, Ogwen shuts down OM as Few gets the Lord. The collapse of Tlph started out by Ogwen. And now Flcn fins off the kill to Super Marco.
Technically, they didn't contest. They just went straight for the turn.
It was a beautiful call from Master Ogwen. Seeing how grouped up together Team Liquid Philippines was and looking for the right targets, both JP and OHEB, but more so on OHEB. Them being able to take him out meant a lot for Team Falcons.
Now they transition to a mid lane turret takedown. Lord up top, Tlph waiting for the perfect opportunity to strike. Sanji with a feathered airstrike, he goes in the middle. Tempest of Blades casted down as Owen has been shut down.
Marco!
JP chasing after Phil. Tlph gone as well. Super Marco bursted by the MVP. Phil got caught, has the Crimson Beacon. Sanford runs after him. Lantern Flare is there, but Phil and Tlph are left.
Oh, anime fight. Tlph backing out. He knows the massive losses across the board. 3 down for free. Liquid find a clap back, but they still have to deal with a Lord.
And those clapbacks just come in too fast. Like, be it Team Falcons, be it Team Liquid Philippines, the moment you make even just the slightest mistake, or if you take a bit more longer than you should, then you could expect the immediate responses already coming in. If we would look at that instant replay earlier, Team Falcons, they just wanted to take down this mid-tier too, but Tlph holding that brush alongside every single member of Team Liquid Philippines calling for an engage. They just knew they had the advantage and they took out so many members of Team Falcons.
Call it punitive action. Falcons did steal a few kills, did steal away the Lord when Liquid was up by 4K. Who saw that coming? No one saw that coming, save for Falcons.
Ogwen rather saw that coming because he did this yesterday with this specific hero, the Badang. If you give Ogwen the flicker and the fist break, fist crack, things could change for Team Falcons, and they don't lack the damage to burst down any of the members of Tlph. But again, if they stay too long, Tlph, they win the extended fights.
Yeah, and it's looking a bit more better for Team Liquid Philippines right now, since OHEB already picked up the Wind of Nature as well. They only have to be extra careful in terms of positioning, but so long as Sanford is able to provide the necessary information, unlike earlier where it feels like no one was watching the mid, no one was keeping an eye on the mid brushes, then it'll be more difficult for Ogwen to play around with the angles or the potential setups later on.
In that last Lord fight, Falcons seem to have understand how Tlph were playing more like a herd, clumped up. Now it's Liquid's turn to evolve once again, mid-series. How can they change up their tactics, their formations, their movement, so they don't get punished as hard by the Master? Item check here. So far, Marco is catching up to OHEB, but I'm thinking stacks-wise. I'm thinking like just pure raw damage and lethality. OHEB still trumps the bulletproof.
Yeah. Yep. I think he got shut down in the middle of his 6 kills, so that's not the full 60 stacks that you would expect from a Sky Piercer. But again, in terms of survivability, both gold laners have their Wind of Natures ready, so you can keep an eye out of that if ever Owen manages to catch OHEB or even JP and Sanji. But now they're trying to go for Sanford as Tlph starts things off with this Lord.
All right, half health. The dance has begun, approaching the point of no return.
We're still waiting for Tlph. He dashes in, but OHEB gets the Lord in exchange for JP. He pops his Revitalize, might even be able to walk away as Sanford preventing Ogwen from a setup and disrupting the feathered airstrike of Sanji. And now OHEB chasing after Tlph. The daddy has been saved, but Ogwen jumps in as well. Sanford from the back might be able to cast that ultimate. Tlph jumps in, Tempest of Blades here and now, and Tlph enters in with the Wiki Shadow Kill, but they share out the damage. One more hit on a JP and no casualties for the Cavalry.
They'll have to defend. Team Falcons has to defend, but we're chasing for Sanford. Will Super Marco get the kill? And he does!
The bulletproof, again in the nick of time, was able to get Sanford. And with that kill, Tlph won't be able to use this Lord.
Fade away, ricochet shot by the bulletproof, keeping Falcons in the game. A few punished movements from Liquid. Again, in the heat of battle, you're going to want to get what you can. You're going to want to snowball and punish your opponents when they overextend. Tlph committed Tempest of Blades to take down, what was that, Ogwen or Tlph? Someone who you shouldn't use your ult on.
Ogwen, I think it was Ogwen.
Yep, and honestly, that entire decision from Team Liquid Philippines to just burst down the objective, it normally would be dangerous with very limited information. But it was so fortunate that Team Falcons, they were actually really taking their time. Owen had to come in from the other side of the right mid bush, but even for Kyle, he wasn't ready to contest just yet. Speaking of Kyle!
Oh, fortunately for Kyle, he was able to shadow out. Now commits the weak shadow kill to Sanji! And Master Ogwin with a beautiful setup. Kyle TZ is going to fall down though. Ogwin immortality pop. Now they're trying to go for more and double kill. Coming in from Owen. He wants to make it 3. Flap TZ caught in a mix. Carl TZ jumps in as well. One more hit on Flap TZ. It's going to be a 2-for-1 trade.
Massive for Liquid here. They could have definitely lost more. And Kyle TZ, ever the artist on the Assassins, went in, isolated Sanji, went for the shadow kill, but only found one.
And how lucky or how fortunate is it for Tlph that Oheb wasn't part of the setup. So they had the damage. They had ways to answer back, even though Master Ogwin went in and nearly got that perfect setup.
Kill one didn't even have a flicker. You're right, Brigida. He was fortunate. He was blessed. They were more than lucky. There was someone out there looking out for Kill one saying, please don't kill him, please don't kill him. 61 stacks.
Yeah, and that's because, again, with the kit of his hero, he has unlimited reach, especially towards the 17-minute mark now. So he doesn't need to be in close combat to dish out the damage up against Team Falcons.
Sonata on Sonata on Sonata.
Now, even the Rhapsody was more than enough. Oh.
Slowly but surely, Falcons can position themselves again into a point where they'll force Tlph to respond, but it's Liquid who's being proactive right now. Lord Dance began. Sanford gets caught up.
Good grab on Flap TZ onto Sanford, but now JP getting caught in a mix. Ogwin waiting for a perfect opportunity to strike. He doesn't know where he is. JP pops his Revitalize already. Got caught by the Lantern Flare. One member down for Tlph. Owen commits the ultimate onto Sanford. Paired up with Fuse Lantern Flare. Super Marco finishes the job as they bring down 2.
That's free. 2 for free. I don't think Liquid should take this fight.
Now Kyle TC. Okay, there was a Winter Crown play coming in from Sanji. Oheb delivering the Rhapsodies though. Super Marco from the back. He spots Oheb. Wind of Nature battle between the 2 gold laners. He pops Sanji as well. And the chase is on. Owen flap onto Carl. Oheb immortality pop. And Fiu delivers the final blow
that
to
was
the
a 2
MVP.
for 1. And Carl TZ going 2 for 1. 3v1. That was disastrous for Liquid.
It was very disastrous. Imagine not being able to anticipate in advance whatever setups Team Falcons were going for, but it wasn't really the setups, honestly. It was the way Team Liquid Philippines decided to take their time again, tanking the front lines. But what they don't know is that Super Marco's already online. He has a full build on the Clint.
JP doing his best to delay and give enough information for Tlph.
Oh!
Lantern Flare is there. He escapes. Oh, Gwen with a combo. Forced out the Templates of Blade. Is this enough damage? Carl TZ finds Super Marco. A killing spree for the young goat as Sanford tanking up the damage. And now the tides have shifted again to Tlph.
And from out of nowhere, it becomes a 3v3 again. A 4v3, a 5v3. Liquid has failed to take the Lord, but recovered well enough to push back Falcons from stealing it.
And it felt like Carl TZ immediately knew they had to find a way to deal with Super Marco. And he was the only guy they took out from Team Falcons. JP, this time around, it was a much more rewarding of him to sustain all that damage.
And he was the guy that Falcons needed to take that Lord. That's why Liquid got it for free. Falcons hesitated.
This is the result of numerous tournaments, numerous grand finals, numerous crucial matches between these 2 teams. Despite not having enough information, they rely on the tendencies that they found out about each other. That's why this game is long. It's approaching the 20-minute mark, and it's still a close fight.
For the past 400 days, these 2 in some version of these lineups have gone all around the world and played world-class MLBB. And today, they prove that they can keep going. They can keep changing the game. A forced retreat for Kyle and Ogwin. Watch out for Ogwin. It's the master really who changes the tide of these fights.
But Is the damage going to be enough, though, even if Owen managed? Oh, Winter Crown play coming in from Sanji there, but Flcn flickers in to bring down Sanji. And now they pick up Sanford, force out a lot of flickers. Lord was able to burst down the inhibitor in the middle lane as View and Flcn working on Tlph. One member down for the Cavalry.
Brigada was that wise. They spent so much just to take down Sanji. They didn't even protect that mid lane.
Yeah, they lost the mid lane turret. However, they were able to deny that Lord Siege. Team Liquid Philippines could have definitely went for if ever they still had all their members and all their resources complete. And now this allows for a little more breathing room for Team Falcons, but they definitely should be the ones to find the team fights, to find the more favorable fights later on.
Ooh, may I say, the fact that no flicker, save for Flapteasy, was spent in that takedown, in that defense in mid. So maybe, just maybe, Falcons are setting something up.
And fortunately for them also, fortunately for them, it was the mid lane inhibitor turret that got taken down. So Tlp's potential split pushes can be managed by Team Falcons.
Yep. Now we're already approaching that point in the game.
It's the fourth Lord, by the way.
Yeah, where everyone is just full builds, where everything doesn't matter anymore, where it's ultimately execution once again, and the constant adapting you do in game. That feels like both of these teams, as time progresses, as time goes by, they just constantly know how to attack one another, and the seesaw battle is just too real.
Amazing map control by Team Falcons. Despite losing out on their mid lane, getting penetrated there, inhibitor taken down, they still managed to make the map go blue. And this is in front of a Hilda, in front of a Ling, in front of a Farsa. How do they do that?
Every single time we think that Team Liquid Philippines have already taken control, even of the upcoming objectives, even of the setup. Team Falcons just find a way.
Flapteasy, guilty. A charge of Grand Theft Purple. How?
That's revenge for Tlph taking away their turtle early on in this game. And now no purple buff for Tlph. The potentially last Lord dance that we'll see for game number 2.
That's lethal. Going into a fight without a purple for a Ling this late into the game with these high stakes involved, Tlph won't let's just say they can't fight.
Yeah, it's hard.
This is gonna be a very difficult decision for Team Liquid Philippines. And there's the conceal already coming in from Ogwen. They're already positioning themselves, and they might find Oheb!
Oheb walks in! Camera switch!
Catches Oheb, pops his immortality. Tlph makes sure to deliver the final kill. A sacrificial play for Ogwen there to keep Tlph at bay. Immortality pop, Sanford leading the charge. Sanji delivers the final kill. JP immortality pop. Sanford caught in a mix once again. Few continuing with the Lantern Flare. Might be able to pick up Sanford, but a Winter Crown play is there. Super Marco with a grenade bombardment. But Sanji answers back with a feathered airstrike to shut down the bulletproof. A clutch winter play from View and Sanji. The call from the back. The young goat making plays for Tlph.
Old allies, Tlph and Flapteasy meeting on the battlefield. Flapteasy running away, retribution spent by Carl, popping the immortality.
And surrounded by 2, no escape for Flap, but Tlph now in the picture. He's all alone. Tlph has 3.
An emotional roller coaster in the span of a minute. They caught Oheb, but now they're staring down the barrel of a pushing mid.
No need for the Lord. Minions onto the middle lane. Tlph against his idol. Uigi Shadow Kill already casted. Might be able to clear it out, and he bought enough time.
Insane! A few minutes back, a few seconds back, the buy and sells, the decisions to stay in this game. And now they're trying to burst the Lord, but Ogwen and Kyle, they're still within the area. But Morgan!
Master! Ogwen! The clutches Lord Steel! In his entire career! We witness it here!
The capacity crowd in the Champions Arena erupts. Cavalry, Falcons, Nest, everyone in between just losing their collective minds. How?
And I was just saying, fortunately, Kyle is far. Fortunately, there's no way he could catch up, but it was Ogwen all along who could get the job done.
Mentally speaking, You have to recover. You can't let yourself be haunted by the fact that a roamer stole away your Lord. This is an evolved Lord. And now they have to defend. Tlph going to the flank, just cutting that wave in mid.
Oh, they're gonna need every bit of Tlph here as the Lord approaches up top, clears the inhibitor. Tlph jumps in, Sanji, but got interrupted by Tlph. Oh, with disrupting Tlph. Tlph want to go for more. Super Marco pops his Wind of Nature. He still has his immortality. Only JP got lost, and they were able to clear out the Lord.
A great defense shown to us by Team Liquid Philippines. For now, they're able to deny and delay Team Falcons and their attempts, but there are still waves coming in from the sides that they successfully are able to deal with. It is just so good that they're able to maximize the Ling at this point, because if not, it would have been terrible for Team Liquid.
Minions sieging in onto the bottom lane. Everyone entering with their ultimates. Tlph with his spread. Tlph was able to pop a lot of immortalities. Sanji able to dish out the feathered airstrike. A lot of resources expended on Team Falcon's side.
Oh, they've accepted the fact that Tlph went in too deep. Better lose 1 than 2 or 3. Marco and Few were at the brink of death. Falcons survived. They could have been punished so much harder, but Liquid, I wonder what their thoughts are on this next Lord spawning in 20.
You know, this is the first time in this playoffs I actually saw a death timer in 70 seconds. That's how long our game is right now. As we approach this 27-minute mark, 10 seconds, Lord will spawn. And Team Falcons, they need Tlph for this potential fight.
I think the longest we've ever seen was in day 1. But wait!
Sanji picks off Marco!
The Lone Stallion made an amazing solo play to pick off the man regarded as the bulletproof, as Tlph takes away the last potential Lord.
How did Sanji get into that position? But all the more, how was Super Marco so far away from the others?
That play, it's a shame we did not see it as it happened. That play by Sanji made that catch by JP on Oheb earlier in the purple side buff of Liquids look like child's play. How did he single-handedly kill Marco?
Again, we're gonna go down to they know each other's tendencies. That wasn't enough information.
He was right
for
there,
Sanji.
in front of the orange buff.
Exactly. The culmination of long fights, long clashes of these two teams might come to an end today. Lord sieging in into the middle lane. Can Falcon defend without Marco? Tlph jumps in with a shadow kill. Tlph immortality pop. Lord still there. Tlph gone. Ogwin desperate attempt to pop the winter crown. Another winter crown from Sanford. All 5 members of the cavalry still alive. They might be able to clear it out. But Tlph goes from the back with a Templars ablaze. And now they set their eyes on the turret, on the tower. Tlph wins this game.
Are you not entertained? World-class MLBB coming your way from the Titans of MLBB. Liquid 2-0.
A nearly 30-minute game before Team Liquid Philippines was able to get it, but my oh my, what a series we're having right now.
Falcons seem to struggle in the clutch moments. Redmar Rockhart, what's going wrong for them?
I mean, 30 minutes of a roller coaster. Redmar can barely breathe.
What the hell, man? Yo, one of these two teams are going to the grand finals and are going to MSC.
Yeah.
That was just insane. The Sandman does it again. Putting Falcons to sleep. It hurts to say as a Falcons guy, but you gotta appreciate damn good MLBB when damn good MLBB is staring you dead in the eye.
That's right. He was so good that the camera can't really catch a few of these kills.
I'm losing my mind.
I'm pretty sure Sanji's gonna be MVP there again.
Well
There you
deserved.
go.
Well deserved.
Well deserved, indeed.
Game 1, that's Lo Yi. Game 2, it could have been anyone from Liquid. It could have been Carl. But that pickoff onto Marco, eyes closed, the cold-blooded eyes closed killer does it again.
Yeah, and with style, by the way. He has been doing it head-to-head with a glue in his face, with everyone just jumping on him, with Ogwen's Badang just so good in positioning and catching him, he's still able to actually get out and give a good turn for TL.
But my goodness, and as the game went on, I don't know if I should still agree with past me saying that Team Liquid Philippines definitely won the draft, but I think the better way to put it is Team Liquid Philippines definitely had a draft that made Super Marco work his absolute behind off in this game.
Yes.
He had to do so much. Kyle Tlph had to do so much to try and access the backline when he could. Ogwen as well, who, by the way, could have gotten the stop of the century plus that Lord that he miraculously stole if Oheb wasn't just so fast with pressing the flicker away when Team Liquid Philippines eventually won the game. Oheb was able to avoid the entry by Ogwen, but definitely, let's go back to the performance of Sanji here. It's his play in this Farsa, his bravery to try and access the backline and be incredibly aggressive with helping Team Liquid by setting up kill angles. Another great MVP performance.
Yeah, he's been blowing people up from minute 7. You can really feel his explosiveness, and Oheb with his willingness to flicker forward as a Granger as well, just to make sure that these kills are going to register at the very end. Despite the very good sets that Falcon has been doing, despite the really good intro of Tlph to the backline, it sometimes feels like it's just not quite enough yet. The members from Tlph are able to get out with a sliver of health time and time again, just so they can make sure they can get ready for the next objective.
Yeah, honestly, for Tlph, they just played so much better.
Yeah, it's so good right there. Even these miniature Lord Steals, this game boiled down to just really, really good micro. Actually, you might see it here. They were fighting their butts off in this jungle with so many times that you were buying and selling immortalities and winter treasures, and they were able to really get to a point where Sanji had to micro with his life in front of 2 members of Falcon.
That was an absolutely insane juggle with the Winter Crown. Again, Ogwen miraculously being able to steal the Lord away. Carl Tlph was there. He did press the Retribution. Sanji locking in. Feathered Airstrike canceled quickly. Purify just in time to get away. And of course, Tlph latched onto him. Here, Ogwen, bang! Oheb with the flicker. Sanji with the Winter Crown. Clutched by the backliners of Team Liquid.
For a majority of these games, it feels like Sanji was the bait, and Oheb was like, all right, clean this up, bro. Clean this up. And that synergy just makes it so scary for for Falcons to actually make any big plays happen without expecting some really good collateral damage.
Yeah, eventually this became a game of the little things, the small decisions that you make in the middle of team fights. Team Liquid Philippines deciding whether or not to conserve some certain abilities or to use it right away for instant gratification. Same thing goes for Falcons. It just became a trade of who got to execute better. There's so many times all throughout all the fights that you saw that an early wind and nature proc by either of these 2 marksmen could be the difference between life or death. The fact that Falcons would have to overcommit early on just to try and reach Oheb, whereas compared to Team Liquid Philippines, Carl Tlph can easily just swoop in and find Marco, and Carl Tlph played this game like a bird of prey. He played this game like a falcon, waiting for the perfect time to entry. But then we also saw moments where Carl Tlph said, man, let me just do this myself. Goes in, jumps to the back, pops a shadow kill, forces reactions out of Sanji and Oheb, forces reactions out of Tlph. It was a back and forth of excellence between the two teams.
Exactly, and Carl Tlph played this lane to a T.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a really big bridge from early to mid here for Tlph, waiting for Oheb to get ready. I mean, Sanji's already doing it, but you know what? Sanji couldn't have done it alone. Carl Tlph was really on point as well here, allowing the rest of Falcons to, he was basically the walking red target if Sanji wasn't present.
And one of the reasons why this game got extended for so long is because Team Liquid Philippines also responded very well to when Tlph would be able to get the grab onto someone. They delay the damage, and Falcons would be, it's sort of like whoever Flap grabbed, that was like the center point of the Mexican standoff.
Right.
It's like, all right, Team Liquid Philippines is waiting for their time. Carl Tlph waiting in the wings, and then eventually it's just who got to deal damage at the right time, who entered at the better time, who dashed at the better time. BPI rich guy, it's Carl.
That's right. We mentioned earlier how he executed this Ling. He is one of the standards for playing Ling right now. If you're thinking about how many people played the Ling in the playoffs, right? I mean, Carl Tlph probably played it best so far. And now we're going to go in back into it. Whew. That's beautiful.
All right. So, let's try to discuss, find some ways to break this down a little bit deeper here. I am at a loss for words in terms of how to break this down with everything that we have because of the very brawly-centric way this game was played. But it wasn't brawl for the sake of brawl. It was just, that's what it called for. Certain fights at certain times getting forced out. Look how insanely close this game was. Looking at the timers even, Team Liquid Philippines got the turtles in the game. We didn't get a lot of turtles in this one, but they were able to get the ones that mattered early on. And then it just became a trade of towers. This means these two were just so locked in with playing around the objectives. And yes, they were playing around the objectives. Despite there being so many fights in this game, all of those occurred in the timings around major objectives. And that isn't just turtles, that isn't just lords. Remember, when it comes to the junglers that are dependent on the purple buff, those turn into mini major objective team fights as well. That's why we saw a lot of action. And of course, with the nature of the Farsa and the Ling on the side of Team Liquid Philippines, smaller fights can even break out across the map because of how mobile they are and their role as sort of like assassins. So this just goes to show how close this game was because it wasn't just all about the kills. Again, they played around the objectives so well with how many were taken by both teams all throughout. They were 100% locked in. And it eventually just became, again, back to the main point of it all, who could execute better. That's how close this game was. It became a game of the little things. The little micro moments, also important.
Yeah, so good, man. It was I love that you actually brought it up. It was so crucial, the moments where the lead wasn't big. It was like, it bounced between 4K, 2K, and then back to Falcons, it's 2K, and back to TL, it's 2K. It wasn't about like getting that lead and turning it into a snowball. It was more of, okay, what's the next objective? And who's going to win it. Because every single objective, it felt like a 50-50. It was like, toss a coin.
Yeah.
Toss a coin. It wasn't always the jungler as well. It was sometimes the roamers who were getting the objectives. If you Tlph got a purple snag there.
Yeah, somehow, see, that's why it became a story of the little things. Somehow the glue was able to take away a purple buff away from the Ling with just a simple bonk. I mean, it's insane, really, the action that we were able to see here, the sheer individual skill and will shown between these two. But then I go back again to the main idea at the end of the draft, that feeling I had of Team Liquid Philippines won this draft, even though Falcons played a very close game. Again, look at the center points of these two teams, the cores, the gold laners, the main damage dealers. This game, the lineups, it was so much easier for OHEB to excel in compared to the Clint of Super Marco.
Yes, I actually want to bring that back because RC, bro, what are you doing? He actually, I feel like he cornered Super Marco to play either the carry or the Clint, or maybe some really weird goal laner like an Iksha. So big props to them. He was able to really formulate a draft that kind of just forced him into a suboptimal, albeit still played very well.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure they practiced it. Man, oh man, that was really insane.
Yeah, 100%. The problems that Team Liquid has had in their drafting so far in this playoffs, completely gone now. They are drafting out of their minds the adjustments that they've made, the preparation that they've made against Team Falcons, world class. Now it's Falcons trying to catch up to the Stallions.
Yeah. Well, let's give them a little bit of a breather. Obviously, it's going to be a long day. Let's throw it over to our host first. We got something for you.
Maraming salamat sa ating panelists. We are here still at the Champions Arena at kasama naman natin walang iba kundi ang winners ng BPI Unibankers or Legendary Unibankers Cup. They are here, and for everybody's information, all right, BPI is the official banking partner of MPL Philippines. At sila yung nanalo in terms of that tournament. So hello guys, kamusta? It's so nice to have you here, to have you guys here with us today. And Miss Gla, being one of the organizers, of course, you've been here for, quite some time. You've been watching a lot of games. Yun ba yung naging inspirasyon to hold off a tournament doon mismo sa inyong opisina?
So actually, we plan on tapping what the employees generally want. So one of which is the gaming, and then especially Mobile Legends. So ang laki kasi ng following ng Mobile Legends sa Unibanker. So it's also our way to show how fun, and then also yung camaraderie and team spirit, and also showing na BPI is into this modern interest and gaming in general.
I want to know more about that. How did your coworkers, how did all of the employees took it knowing na, ay, magkakaroon ng tournament? You announced it. What was the reception like for them?
So, sobrang overwhelming and saya kasi nakakuha kami ng 47 team registrants just in Metro Manila pa lang, no? So, ang daming clamor. So, hindi lang yung mga gamers yung interested, pati yung mga non-gamers. So, yung mga other employees na kahit hindi naglalaro, sobrang excited sila doon sa tournament. So, naging fun yung overall experience sa tournament.
And dahil doon, di ba, out of all of those 47 teams that you have organized together with E-Project, nandito na ngayon ang ating 5 champions in terms of everything that has happened. So guys, it's so nice to be here with you today muli. I want to know more about the experience doon. Kasi, was that the first time na nagkaroon ng tournament in your office? Was it? Was it?
Yes.
Oh, kamusta naman ang experience all throughout?
Yung experience po namin is sobrang saya kasi not just kami yung unang nanalo dun sa BPI Bankers. Yung pagkaka-organize po kasi is sobrang solid. Yung referees, especially yung mga casters and MC, yung pagiging profession nila at saka yung energetic na binigay nila dun sa game.
I like it. I like it. And I'm so glad that you guys are here. You know what? Imbitahan naman natin silang lahat to support or saan ba ang sunod na tournament? Gusto niyo ba ng tournament? Go ahead. And, imbitahan natin sila na magpunta dito mismo sa MPL Arena.
Yes, iniimbitahan namin kayo na manood ng MPL Live. Suportahan natin ang local esports at enjoy ng vibe dito sa MPL Arena.
I like it. Maraming salamat once again to all of our representatives coming in from BPI. Marami pa tayong laban na makikita. Now, I just want to get a vibe check from everyone. Buhay na buhay pa ba ang cavalry? Everybody is A-okay as of the moment. Kamusta naman ang Falcons Nest? Okay pa ba kayo dyan? I like it. Team Falcons looking to catch up by getting their first point of the day. But for Team Liquid Philippines, it's consistent based on the momentum. Panelists, balik sa inyo.
That's right. Even bankers really like MLBB.
Yeah,
apparently.
It's a global game, man.
It's global.
Pick up your phone and then you play it.
And right after that, obviously, they also just want to give you a better tomorrow. So BPI obviously empowers Pinoy gamers as well with next-level banking solutions to help you level up in life, either by digital deposit accounts, insurance, investments, loans, and others.
Yeah, you can start saving up for a better tomorrow. Just open up a #SaveUp account today via the BPI app. One ID, 5 minutes, and you already have an account. You have an even more epic tomorrow with BPI.
Yeah, don't forget to ask your local teller.
Yeah.
Hey, do you play MLB? Let's go. Of course, for everyone else that plays ML, we have epic news for you. We also have the Vibe app, where you can actually pay bills via QR, send funds, and you also claim rewards. All of that on the Vibe app.
Yeah, but wait, you also have an epic bonus. If you sign up, you also have a chance to win 1,250 MLBB diamonds.
And of course, that's diamonds for flexing your skins and all of that. Upgrade that. Go to World Collector using Vibe app. Download it now and go for a more epic tomorrow with BPI.
Oh, man. I'm excited for the draft to break down already because, again, how Coach RC and Team Liquid Philippines have adjusted with the struggles that they've had in the drafts, all playoffs long, but then now with 2 games in a row of just being able to find at least one weakness point, worked out so well for them.
It worked out. I wonder who can get this post though. Again, you have to keep your eyes closed. And why is his eye? Oh my goodness!
Perfect,
perfect.
Give it to the child.
Just not
give
even.
it.
Let's not prolong this.
Just give it right away.
Just give it right away.
He
That's
wins it.
Perfect.
He gets the assignment. They're getting the assignment too. Nope.
It's gonna be so hard to beat that. No,
Yeah, nah,
sorry.
nah. He wins it.
He wins it.
It's mini Sanji right there.
So perfect. He even looks a little bit like, oh my god, that's insane. Give it to the guy. That's the winner of the smart power post. Again, you can win a redeemable in-game code. And every single photo of Sanji has his eyes closed.
Yeah.
Is that a sign that he's just gonna play Farsa all day?
Again, he's the eyes closed, cold-blooded killer. That's who he is.
Yeah, that's who he is. Play anytime, anywhere with Smart's Power All 99.
Now with 10 gigabytes for all apps, plus your choice of only Facebook, Messenger, and Instagram, or you also can pick only TikTok, plus only calls and texts to all networks in the Philippines.
That's right. More data, more GG. Just still 99 pesos for 7 days. So come on, load now. And you can also watch our streams.
Yeah.
While you're at it.
Yeah. Pick up a nice data promo plan with Smart.
Hey. And do you need pro-level speed, though? Since you really want a really fast internet, go for Smart Switch and stay ahead of the game.
You can get your Smart eSIM today for only 99 pesos and experience ultra-fast 5G connectivity on any device. No SIM swapping needed.
Available now at Smart stores nationwide or online via the Smart Online Store.
Yeah, very useful for when you're traveling if you have an eSIM on you, because you can just get a local SIM when you go abroad. Or if you're someone like me and you got your phone stolen, if I do get my phone stolen next time again, we're knock on wood, I guess. At least I don't have to worry about my SIM, because as an eSIM, I can easily just deactivate. So eSIMs are so worth it.
That's right. And you don't have to get a little stick and open your SIM tray. You just register it.
Yeah, those are incredibly annoying. I think
they're so good.
Yeah, we got to come up with a better way, except for those little SIM tray tools.
SIM tray ejectors.
I'm done with that. Yeah. No more.
That's why we go eSIM now, for everything.
Exactly.
So right now, enjoy it with Smart. We're going to go into the draft for game number 3. And just an update, we are 0 so far for Tlph. Again, whenever RC's cooking in the back, someone's got to smell it, because Falcons, what's it going to be? How are they going to come back into this one? We're going to call back Brigida, the leader of the Brigadudes, to help us out.
Okay, shoutouts, and now I'm forced to shout out all the Brigadudes, and hello Renmar, rock hard. We're heading into this game after I'm not pretty sure if I'm still over what happened earlier, and immediately the Baksha first pick for Team Falcons, but at least it's limited now to 2 roles.
All right, and Tlph, a very fast drafting, just goes to show how well these two teams are prepared for each other, know each other. Juice and Granger, great first picks. Falcons go for the Hayabusa Farsa, great response as well. Very even in the draft right now. Still both very good moves.
Yeah, the classic Trevor Blitz draft, by the way, just going in ham with the first 3, just like it's no one's business. Although the Zushin is a pretty good pickoff for Tlph. Obviously, Oheb still gonna have that muscle memory as well on that Granger. I always love it when teams, like players, just stick to their previous ones. And especially if it did win. That last game was super micro-intensive.
Yeah.
And he was able to actually do a lot with that.
Yep. And Team Liquid Philippines, they're actually that team who, okay, they pick up the Badang, because I wasn't really thinking that they would consider it, since they mostly saved pretty much some of the surprises for JP so far in the way that this game has happened. But now they're considering the flex factor too, and yeah, it's still pretty even now for both of these teams so far.
Yeah, honestly, the draft, okay, again, it pains me as a Falcons guy, but I'm leaning towards Team Liquid again, because so far, the Falcons picks have been, other than the Baksha, reactive. The Baksha as the first pick, a very proactive choice. The Farsa and the Hayabusa was a reaction to the Juicin and the Granger. The Badang is a proactive choice against what Falcons have brought to the table. The first 2 picks of Liquid, the Granger and Juicin, proactive choices as well. They knew the Farsa would be open, they knew the Hayabusa would be open, but they still willingly picked the Juicin and Granger first.
Again, you might be thinking, you know what, it's fine as long as they don't have that Lu Yi, as long as they don't have that chip. That's what Falcons thinking right now.
I guess for Team Liquid Philippines though, they still can consider the Lucas it's still an option if ever Carl TZ wants to go that route, especially as they banned out the Ling already here for Team Falcons. Unless they're giving us the Lancelot in this game.
Yeah, come on. Give us a Lance, Carl Lance game, please. But Falcons has to ban either the Gacha, Lucas.
Yeah.
Maybe they're willing to play against the Lancelot, maybe, but there's a lot of major picks right now that Falcons need to deal with first.
Yeah, so far it does feel like the Lancelot might be a possible last pick either way. So we're still looking for a possible XP laner as well for Tlph. Lucas is still available. And that would be a pretty nasty combo, possibly on the docket here for Falcons if they want to ban it out.
Yeah, and they ban out the Phoveus too. So would that tell anything about Team Liquid Philippines and their possible options later on? But again, Team Falcons, what are they more willing to play against? Is it the additional layer of CC that the Gatot Kacha can offer? Especially it'll make things harder for few.
Yeah.
Or is it the Lucas that'll just make this mid-range lineup so far of Team Liquid Philippines a lot more better, and it seems like they'll be more willing to let go of the Gatot Kacha.
Okay. Gatot Kacha for JP. Potentially the pick right now for Team Liquid Philippines. They're... I'm leaning towards... Oh, no! Even better. This was in the back of my head, but I didn't think they'd want to go for a pick-off style. But they're okay with it. This empowers the Granger and the Badang really well, and I think that means we're getting an assassin for Carl.
Yeah,
for sure.
And imagine how difficult it is going to be to move with this lineup of Team Liquid Philippines so far. There's the Jawhead Badang, there's the Jushin, who's kind of like a tankier mage.
Yeah, you can imagine the alley-oop that's going to happen here with the Zushin and the Jawhead.
This needs to be a Glue and a Moskov maybe. There's
is.
the Moskov. Falcons, yeah, I think they have to get the Glue here.
Yeah, something that's gonna survive through the Badang when you get caught out. There it is, right on the arrangement as well.
Yeah.
So is it gonna be? Is it gonna be?
Come on.
Come on! No!
No! Oh. I hate you, Sasuke.
You and the rest of the world.
Come on, man!
I mean, this was the common duo, right? The Suyo, Jawhead, and all that.
Yeah, Brigida, I appreciate you being the voice of reason so much. I will be the voice of, I wish we got Lance Carl.
I wish, everyone does, right?
Yeah, but yes, Suyo, Jawhead together. Team Liquid going a little bit more standard here. Although the Jawhead is a little bit of a swerve of surprise, but Liquid Stampede can definitely come online here, while Falcons, they'll have to play this a little bit more counter-punchy. They might not be able to fight well up until past the 8th minute.
It's like regular season vibes for me for TLPH. Even the picks are very regular season, and they're going what they know here, Rick.
Yep. This is a comfort for JP, by the way, in case y'all forgot. So
that's right.
Let's see how they set the tempo later on.
Let's see how they play with comfort here in the Land of Dawn for game number 3 of Falcons and TL.
Comfort is out of the question. You gotta do what you gotta do to get into the game, and Falcons have yet to score. Welcome to game number 3. 1 win away from match point. The cavalry sits. My name is Leo, here with Ingan and Brigida. You heard her dulcet tones during the draft. Ingan, how do you feel about this? Were you also looking for that Lancelot?
I was looking, of course, for the Lancelot of Carl TZ, but again, if Suyo's a better pick for them, then why not? And I do agree actually with Renmar in terms of their picks in the draft. Team Falcons sort of reactive, and this could also translate in their gameplay, especially if Tlph is on the driver's seat.
A lot of pressure here on the Filipino sniper down bottom. JP covering his behind. Brigida, Suyo came out here for Carl TZ instead of the Lancelot. I'm gonna drill down on that. How do you feel about it going into the Farsa?
It's the first time we're seeing Carl TZ on the Suyo again after quite some time, and honestly, it feels like one of the more comfortable picks for Carl TZ, especially considering the hero pool that he's been showing us recently. But I'm a bit concerned about how he's gonna position himself well enough in front of a Baksha and a Glue. So if you're asking about the Farsa and his capabilities to reach this hero, then they'll probably have to rely on someone else, and then just him following up with the damage.
I hate how it's not even reaching the foster that's the problem. It's going through the possible bodyguards. Here he is, looking for a target in Marco. Understands that it's not quite the best target to go for just yet. The backup hasn't followed through. First turtle spawning in the upper quarter, and it looks like Falcons is there first.
Yeah, you know, prior to the matchup of Onyx, their last series, Suyo has a really, really bad record in the playoffs. So let's see if, alongside King Kong, Tlph can turn the tides for this hero.
All right, turtle started up by JP and Tlph. Ogwin checking range. JP going man-to-man defense. 1/4, 1/5.
Let's see if Tlph will be able to reach it, as Carl will still secure the turtle. But there's the clapback from Falcons, gonna bring down Tlph. They went in even as Tlph goes in with a weak shadow kill to bring down JP.
Yep, great decision from Team Falcons. They decided to go in for the fight, and knowing that there can be additional damage from Super Marco since the SOD did connect, they willingly took that fight, despite everything that we've mentioned regarding the draft, and despite the timings. So this is a clear advantage that Team Falcons has already acquired.
Big win for the Big Birds. Get more with BPI. 1250 diamonds on the line in case you register, you join Vibe. That's a chance to take home some goodies in case you haven't gotten the skins just yet. Ogwin checking range. That's a feather airstrike by few. And again, these are the ugly problems that Tlph have to face. It's going through these frontliners.
You know, similar to what Team Falcons pulled off in game number 2, especially towards the early to the mid game, is the pressure on the mid lane. Again, they don't want Sanji to be as comfortable as possible to eventually scale up with the Zushin, because eventually if Zushin left unchecked, it could spell disaster for Team Falcons.
Yeah, and Ogwin's doing a great job in checking everyone though.
Oh, Spear of Destruction also connects onto Tlph as they bring him down. Next target might be JP here. Tlph racking up a lot of kills so far early game.
That's double dead. Tlph, even if he could have gotten away, had 2 major cores on him.
Yeah, it's the beauty of the early game burst damage too that we're seeing so far from Team Falcons. Team Liquid Philippines, it feels like they have to build up on that damage, and now they have to chase after what Team Falcons has already established in terms of the lead. This is a Hayabusa on a 3-0, 4 minutes into the game, so you know that they're just gonna be very confident in terms of taking the fights.
You're worried about Kyle. I'm worried about Super Marco. He's making mucho dinero. He's been left down bottom, and he can join fights anytime.
Sanford goes in with a beautiful combo there to stun out Few. Few is going to fall down, feeds a kill off to Sanji, but Tlph enters the picture as well. Tlph got dropped there by Tlph. Wiki Shadow Kill still continuing on. JP caught in the crossfire there as they're trying to save it in SOT! Super Marco lacks the damage, but that was more than enough pressure to apply onto Tlph.
Odd placement by Marco here, forcing Sanji to go ahead, flicker forward, catches him with a choke.
Oh, Super Marco getting choked down, was able to dash out, but Lantern Flare caught him as Tlph gets the turtle.
In exchange for the turtle and potentially the purple buff, they're still gonna go for it, but JP saves it long enough. We saw the Sansan duo in action earlier, going for that pickoff, but what they failed to take into account were the other members of Team Liquid Philippines left behind. Things aren't looking too good for Tlph now on a 0-3.
We did mention how difficult it might be for a Suyo to do much in this game, but I didn't expect him to go 0-3, 5 minutes in. Looking at the items, the sheer definition of chop suey. Tlph is struggling.
Yeah. Yes. There's so much that has to be done for them to come back in this game, especially with how Tlph is just able to make his presence be felt.
Tlph can enters and catches Oheb. It wasn't enough for Tlph to share the damage, immediately got bursted down.
How would you respond to that? It came from out of nowhere. It didn't look like a real fight was going to break out. They just really wanted Oheb.
And it feels like they've completely shut down whatever threat this pickoff-centric lineup, or at least in the early game, could deliver. JP is struggling to find the targets, and who can he rely on for the damage if they're this much behind?
I'll do you one better. 6 minutes elapsed, not a single ejector that led to a good play.
Yeah, not even a defensive one, you might say. You've been saying this all season 14. Oh, wait a minute. Sanford spots out Tlph, even goes in once again. The fist bump was there to stun out Tlph and brought enough space for OEB to take down the turret down bottom.
Okay.
Wait, there's one?
Here's the ejector, but is that the right target? Ogwin quite tanky. Now Tlph jumps in once again, paired up with Flcn. They're able to burst down the MVP again. 0-2-0 start for OEB, and now Flcn latches on to Sanji. Beautiful combo there from Sanford, but Tlph though one more hit away, and he's gonna get taken down. Super Marco SOD! Sanji was able to escape, but not for long as Super Marco dishing out the damage. JP falls.
It's gone sideways for the Cavalry as Falcons continue to bear down on him. Super Marco never misses. What is that, 100% on the SOD right now?
Man, if you're gonna count yesterday's series, that's still 100% from Super Marco with his Moscow 3-1-2 start.
Yep, Team Liquid Philippines, they're clearly struggling in terms of how they're able to layer their skills, in terms of how they're able to carry out a sequence that's favorable for them. Whether it be on Sanford trying to anticipate Tlph earlier in that lower bush, they were unsuccessful in doing so, and now here's another team fight.
Here's the spread from Flcn. Tlph jumps in. But wait a minute, he's gonna enter again. SOD is gonna connect the first man down here. Still no one as JP falls down. Tlph might be next, one more hit away. But Tlph trying to counteract as he bring down Ogwin. Sanji enters the picture for the Crimson Beacon and Lantern Flare. But Super Marco with a Spear of Misery to track him down. Tlph enters the picture again. Sanji got caught in Crossfire. Flcn might be able to bring him down, and 2 members down for Liquid.
And they're still going. 40. Got Flap on him. Can they continue?
Oh, Flcn still holding on to Sanford, and now he latches off, and the clash will end here.
To think that we saw probably one of the cleanest games from Team Liquid Philippines earlier. Now it feels like Falcons, it wasn't too reactive of them after all.
Oh, JP with the unstoppable force on to Kyle. Ogwin to the rescue.
And now Ogwin with a stun. Sanford with a beautiful combo. Is the damage there though? Uigi Shadow Kill was casted right on time to help Super Marco with an SOD. And now he's giving out the damage onto JP. JP has to back off. OEB desperately trying to dish out the Death Sonatas, but the damage is still not there for Tlph.
And still Marco never misses. Maybe we should start calling him the Philip. What were you going to say? In season 14, I kept saying.
You kept saying that you don't want the Jawhead to be, at the ending or had a bad start because it's going to be hard for them.
Or to be on the defense.
On the defense,
and
yeah.
that's exactly where Liquid is, despite it being just 8,000 gold lead. Bring it up. Can Liquid come back from this? What's that angle looking like?
It's gonna be hard since you have to pay attention to so many heroes of Team Falcons right now. Tlph, Few, and Super Marco, they're all online. And it's very unlikely that we'll see at least one of them separated long enough that Team Liquid Philippines could take advantage of that. They're just too fast in terms of the responses. And just when we thought it was just pure reactions being forced out of Team Falcons, it wasn't after all.
And not to mention, you have 2 tanky frontliners also for the side of Team Falcons who have yet to die. Here comes the ejector play that can turn the tides around, but Team Falcons still being able to dish out the damage. Again, Tlph jumps in, and Super Marco as well with an SOD. Gonna bring down Sanji, 3 fallen, make it 4. Super Marco wants to chase after Sanford in a double for Super Makmak.
4 down. Not a single clap back from Liquid. Ballooning up to 5,000 gold plus a Lord. Falcons are here.
And I'm not so sure about that call. Taking on Tlph, knowing fully well that the other members of Team Falcons are just within the area and that they won't have enough burst damage just yet. Close call for OEB as well. But that's aside the fact that Super Marco also came in. Few was just free to throw out the Fettered Airstrike, and now Team Liquid Philippines are clearly on the defense.
Right now, you don't want Tlph to be on the defense. So far, they're having a hard time initiating anything against Team Falcons. Even Team Falcons jumps in once again. Uigi Shadow Kill from the back, paired up with the Feathered Airstrike from Few. All the while, Super Marco just working on the turret, delivering the damage. Gonna bring down JP. 1 member down. Ogwin still quite tanky as Tlph takes care of the Lord.
You see the damage coming from Super Marco. And now that we're about to look at his items, this pretty much explains why he's almost 2K ahead of OEB.
Another jump in from Flcn. Sanford got caught there. SOD casted right on time as Team Falcons focuses on the top lane.
Whether it be from lane to lane, whether it be across the map or literally point blank right in front of you, Marco never misses the SOD. And they're continuing to apply pressure. Top lane up next, Shadow Kill!
Oh my goodness! Kyle Teasy went after Sanji once again. 2 members down for Tlph. Tlph's Team Falcons also gets the inhibitor up top.
The bloodthirsty Blade just does not let up. They're approaching 10K!
Yeah, it's already an 8.1K gold lead. And Few just got his hands on that Divine Glaive. So imagine if they get away.
Oh, a throw onto Super Marco. They catch him, but a quick response from Team Falcons. Super Marco stays alive. The bulletproof still here. Kyle Teasy delivers the weak shadow kill to bring down JP. Sanford is gone as well. Flap Teasy working on Oheb, and they take down Carl Teasy. A double for Marco.
He missed, but he never misses. A forward flicker to take down the young goat. Look, folks, he did not rock Purify. He survived that engagement with a flicker.
And he had the wind of nature too. So he was able to survive the damage from TLBH.
There's an engage. Kyle Teasy again jumps in with Shadow as they take down Inhibitor in the middle lane. But TLPH fortunately will be able to clear out the minions.
A bare base, an open field for the Stallions to think about what went wrong. Ingan, you said, at this point in the game, Liquid does not want to be on the back foot. They don't want to be in the defense. I'll tell you now, at minute 1, they didn't want that. The game started. As soon as they began the draft, they did not want that as soon as they locked in that jawhead.
It's hard. I mean, you saw JP, all his ejectors are defensive, are reactive, and in the rare cases that he wants to be proactive, it's Flap, TZ, or Ogwen that he manages to throw.
Conceal play already committed by Team Liquid Philippines, but there's an answer from Team Falcons.
Here comes Ogwen with Shield Unity, keeping TLPH at bay because there's a major objective up for grabs. Lord is up.
Now that they've already used up the Conceal, they'll have to find other ways to go around this, but it's gonna be very difficult, especially for Carl TZ. He's still pretty much behind, although they already might want to take this on.
Ogwen from the back, and they latch on to JP, a mega kill. Coming in from Flap TZ, 1 member down. Team Falcons, do they go for the extra engage? Few chasing after the members of TLPH. Cast the feathered airstrike. Marco with the SOD again as Kyle TZ gets the Lord, but he shut him down. Is this enough time for TLPH? Because their base, there are minions for Team Falcons, and TLPH will clear it out.
A slight miscalculation by Falcons. They thought they could go, but another chance at ending the game here. Oh, Sanford and Kyle TZ. Kyle TZ single-handedly pushing them out. Liquid lives another day.
Yeah, but JP's so heavily punished in this game. He can barely look for a setup for Team Liquid. There's almost no one within reach that he could toss towards the members of Team Liquid Philippines. Fortunately, they're able to buy enough time. We're already approaching 15 minutes. So Oheb definitely, probably at least is lacking just one more item.
The trade onto Super Marco bought enough time for Team Liquid Philippines to take care of the Lord in the middle lane without any pressure for the side of Team Falcons. But it was all part of the plan of Team Falcons to go for a sacrificial play, secure the Lord. But fortunately for the Cavalry, they were able to get not just 1, but 2 bodies of Team Falcons.
And a majority of that is held in weight by Marco. You take out Marco, you have half the problem solved. In comes Ogwen. Kyle TZ coming in, shadow kill!
Also, Wiggy shadow kill to be able to keep TLPH at bay, but the clear of TLPH is just too much. Oheb being able to dish out the damage, and you can clearly see TLPH slowly scaling up.
What was that? Kyle TZ, we've seen him do this multiple times in this game, but that was the first time we saw it lead to really nothing.
I mean, they were prepared. Again, the threat of an ejector, and at the same time, Sanford being able to have his flicker and the combo from the Badang can turn the tides for them. For sure, Ogwen knows that because he's been doing that with the Badang.
Yeah, but this is going to be tricky, though. Team Falcons, Flap, and Ogwen have already picked up their immortalities 15 minutes into this game. So they were already winning pretty much most of the fights that were taking place. But now they can afford to go a little more aggressive since they already have those items within their builds. But they also have to consider that, yes, Team Liquid Philippines, they are gradually scaling, and there will be definitely some opportunities for them, considering that the lead is slowly shrinking, now down to 5K in favor of Team Falcons.
Falcons is still in control, that much we know. The map is blue, Liquid, the amount of space that they can play with, very limited. I'm wondering, who is building anti-heal? Where is it right now? Because Flap, #1 on top of the charts in damage taken, and he's died a record 0 times. I think they have to deal with him first, and then maybe we can talk. Maybe we can find a comeback angle.
Yeah, but it does seem like Sanji's the one who tries to go for either Few or Super Marco. He puts himself out there. He actually tries to disrupt so much of the backlines, and that's a huge responsibility if you're Sanji. You want to do so many things at once, being the Jushin of this lineup.
So much weight on the shoulders of the lone stallion. Sometimes it always comes down to him to do the job. In game 2, he did just that, took down Marco alone, but now he needs help. Oheb and Tlph, not a single Sea Halberd between them.
Yeah, and that help could start from JP or either Sanford. One could set up on the proper targets. Could spell disaster for Team Falcons, but this could be a potential play for the Cavalry. We saw in game #2, Sanji was able to solo kill Super Marco. That set the tone for the game. Could they do it here again?
All right. 3 members of Liquid moving up. The concealed by JP. They walk into him!
Few goes in with a feathered airstrike and they burst down Sanford immediately. Tlph quite low here. He had to back off. They set their eyes onto JP. He still has his immortality as Tlph has to back off.
Was that an ambush or an unfortunate encounter?
It was something similar to what happened with Sanji and Marco in game #1. He just waited for the Curse of Crow and bursted everyone right in front of him. And Team Liquid Philippines definitely had to go back because they had to take into account Super Marco and the potential split. So with an exposed base, this is going to be a difficult defense.
That's painful. Now Liquid knows how it feels for them to walk into a random bush and get blasted.
They did it in game #2, and now Team Falcons again with the clapback. Lord is on their side, 5K gold lead. Tlph has 5 members to defend, but is this gonna be enough for the Cavalry?
All right, Lord marching up. Amazing synchronization by Falcons. 3 waves coming through, and the fight breaks out.
There's the ultimate Wiki Shadow kill and feathered airstrike. JP was able to throw out Ogwen, but there's the Revitalize coming in from the Master. Flap-TZ latches onto Sanford. Super Marco jumps in and locks on the base, and Team Falcons finally a win.
In the clash of titans, you can't expect a sweep. Not like this. Falcons on the board, 2-1.
They've learned too much from what happened in the past 3 days of the playoffs. They definitely cannot let it end like this.
And they were dominant. Falcons, amazing work. Let's start the Red Martin Rock card to see exactly how Falcons did just that.
Marco, there's Super Marco. Oh, we're on. Hey.
Oh, there you go. So that was a bit of sorry, we were reenacting Super Marco just going ham in that one, and the Falcons are on the leaderboard, or scoreboard.
Okay, there was another reason as to why I was flipping out over Sasuke showing up instead of the Lancelot. There's magic damage on the side of Falcons. Farsa in the mid. You had the Baksha in the roam, and then the glue in the EXP lane. The main adjustment to Suyo was his removal of magic defense with his immortal form. And going up against a lineup that has a Farsa and a Baksha on the other side, it's tough for a Suyo to shine. Hence why you saw Falcons take control of the game early on. Tlph went crazy on the Hayabusa. Tlph went up against the monster that he made by winning a world championship. Tlph, 9-1-9. He was the guy in this game #3.
That's right. This is the monster that was born out of Tlph's TZ blade.
Yeah.
And we are seeing it in action. Full stop here. He's giving so much. Actually, even at the very end, those Shadow Kills were able to actually take down single targets.
Oh, yeah.
On its own. So that just goes to show how ahead this Hayabusa was in terms of damage scaling. And when you scale that well, you are the biggest threat. Aside from obviously Super Marco, who's just on the opposite side of the map, wreaking havoc to your towers.
Yeah, and again, let's go back to what I mentioned in the draft earlier when it came to Team Liquid Philippines. They were more proactive with the choices that they made, while Falcons looked like they were a little bit more reactive. However, sometimes the best offense is a good defense. The reactions Falcons had in the draft were better in the long run, and they played it in game. Although there was something that Brigida tried to foresee, where maybe what if Falcons will be reactive. No, they were very proactive in the game, while Team Liquid Philippines were the ones reacting to what Tlph was doing in the early to mid-game, to the point where even when JP, he saw Tlph, he was like, I really want to get this dude down. Team Liquid Philippines were there to respond, but Tlph was just able to get away, and eventually that became not the right pick to try and go for.
It's really hard to blame Tlph as well for playing that way, because it was so hard for either JP or Sanford to make a pickoff happen, because in order to do that, you had to get close to the glue, you had to get close to basically a walking wheel, which is Ogwen, and you're going to get pushed off by either the Spear of Misery, right? It's so difficult.
Super Marco, excellent at this game. The fact that he was able to survive that with just a flicker out. And of course, Tlph, yet again, this is his highlight reel as well, being able to just find the back line. The only error I think that Falcons had in this game was when Super Marco decided to go in here, because this was where it started to feel like Team Liquid Philippines would have enough to turn the game around. But then that was it. Now, Falcons were sharp. Falcons held key objectives. It was Team Liquid Philippines desperately trying to find the unique angle to crawl back into this game and find a better position for themselves. But Falcons stuck to their fundamentals. Yes, they played defensive in the draft, but they played proactive in the game.
Yeah, you can feel the giggle from Falcons in this one, because I feel like Super Marco super locked in on what he needed to do. Again, almost each and every SOD actually hit.
Yes.
And it really had a high impact, except for that last one you pointed out. But everything else was just, oh wow, oh wow. And you actually gave us a bit of a masterclass as well on how to really execute that Farsa very early on.
Yeah, and again, another thing to point out about the lineup of Falcons here, they have the Revitalize with them. There's no Revitalize on the side of Team Liquid Philippines, and that's why the early pickoffs that they tried to attempt just could not push through. There were members of Falcons who would just have enough health to survive and then keep fighting. And well, this is what this lineup is built for, fighting. Remember the last time we said where heroes that are stronger with continuous basic attack damage are very good against lineups that are tanky, slow front to back. Yes, Team Liquid Philippines are playing pick-off in a way, but when you have the Granger with you, you have an element of slow front to back with you. But Super Marco said, let me come from all angles with my SOD, being able to reach the back line when I need to.
That's right, you have a pickoff lineup, but everyone else in front was so hard to ejector. And the guy that you're supposed to ejector, Few had a Purify, and Super Marco obviously is very far away from the fight. And the Hayabusa, good luck catching that one. So I get the problem that Tlph had here. Obviously, it was very difficult for them to actually make kills happen. That's why it's a 25-6 on the kill score, with Tlph as our BPI rich guy. Everything else, Few did a majority of either making the damage happen or getting into the KP.
Yeah, definitely popping up here. The living legend in Few, showing why he is a living legend. Just when this team needed the most, you saw Falcons really understood that they cannot lose this game. They cannot be down 3-0 because it's going to be a titanic crawl to a turnaround. But they took over. They knew they needed to win this one.
Yeah, and of course, 824 GPM is no laughing matter. Like we said, that's the reason why he scaled so well. Like, one target in Tlph was equal to one shadow kill. Actually, one shadow kill was like 1.5. So that's how strong Tlph was in this one.
All right, so let's talk a little bit more about some of the minutiae of the game. Yes, this game was determined a lot by the moves of Tlph, going in with the shadow, committing the shadow kill, and the rest of Falcons just following up. Or the moves of Few, going in, being aggressive, utilizing the Curse of Crow, the stun right away, and then bringing down a Feathered Airstrike, so to set things up for Tlph and the rest of the team. This was a game determined a lot by the kills that Falcons were getting aggressively. Close relatively up until it eventually got out of the hands of Team Liquid Philippines, because when the Lord spawned, and Team Falcons were able to get that without a problem. They got kills to boot as well. the lead just expanded. Team Liquid Philippines only got 2 turtles in this game, got a turret. Yes, they were getting the turtles, but then again, the question is, can you convert the major objectives into even more objectives? The answer was no, sadly enough, for for Team Liquid Philippines. While for Falcons, the answer for them was yes, we will be able to convert the major objectives. Mainly, they weren't converting the turtles, they were mainly converting towers. They were converting lords into towers, and they were converting that into gold, into space. Space, which is very good for a lineup that has a Moskov and a Farsa with them. Again, the fact that they had the Revitalize and the Baksha meant that the early game team fights and pickoffs that Team Liquid Philippines wanted to get are going to be so much harder to take. When you have the glue rotating out of the EXP lane to join the fights alongside the Baksha, alongside the Farsa, that will make Suyo struggle. Suyo going up against magic damage is a struggle for early to mid. They leaned a little bit too hard, I feel like, on the Jawhead and Suyo combination. If that was something like a Gatot instead of the Roam, then you would have the taunt to counter-engage what Team Falcons wanted to do. You would have a jump into the back line to make sure that you could try to force a reaction out of Super Marco. And of course, we know how Gatot can survive long enough in team fights anyway, so that he will be able to deal that sudden burst of basic attack damage that he would get with his passive. And most importantly, if they had a Gatot in that lineup for Team Liquid Philippines, they would have had an extra Revitalize to match the Revitalize of the Baksha. Though it would be a little bit nerfed compared, because Baksha naturally has the anti-heal, at least you'd be able to increase your chances. But I still also feel like that Suyo should have been a Lancelot, man. It's not just me fanboying. It's because of the whole magic damage relationship that we pointed out. So let's look at the item path here for Super Marco compared to Oheb. He was getting his core items first. Of course, with the 1,500 price of the Sky Piercer, we'll get that before the Golden Staff. But the fact that the Golden Staff came almost the same time as the Sky Piercer of Oheb, it shows just how fast Super Marco was able to get farm without that much of a problem. Oheb got his Malefic Roar almost the same time as Super Marco. Credits to Team Liquid Philippines for being able to keep the farm of Oheb relatively close, but they were just losing everything else. Their Roamer pick-off type against a lineup that has a Baksha and Glue, so difficult to pull off. I feel like that, again, will hammer down that point. Miscalculation, could have been a Gacha plus something else. Probably would have fared better up against the Feisty Falcons, and increasing the chances that Team Liquid Philippines will be able to capitalize on punishing the errors that Falcons could have potentially made. But we live in this reality where it was Falcons who won the game. The item progression for Few as well, very good. He got his Lightning Charge 12 minutes in, but that's because he was very active with being present in the map. He got his Divine Glaive at 14 minutes in, and by that point, you're already locked in. So, a great game by Falcons, a great draft, and of course a great game by Super Marco. Let's look at his average patch 1.9.64 stats for the mid-game stats for the 8 minutes. I did not break that, did I? Oh God, my goodness. Whew, I thought I'd lose a chunk of my talent fee there. I'm doing something wrong. Okay, so 67% kill participation for Super Marco. Definitely much better. Usually around the 8-minute mark, he's around level 10. But here, he was level 11. Gold difference, look at that massive gold diff compared to the average that he's done since post-patch. But in this game number 3, just goes to show how much better of a time Super Marco was able to have this time around. Again, because Falcons, as pointed out by the casters earlier, decided to focus on one thing this time around: their control and their advantage in the center of the map. The fact that he was able to deal almost 7,000 more damage than he does on the average by the 8-minute mark, insane numbers. So let's revisit what we saw in that last draft. Team Liquid Philippines was on the red side, but I feel like that was a red side that could have been played much better, considering the fact that that is their comfort side. 17-6, they usually do red side so well. It's their most heroes picked in that side, but it just didn't work out. The Moskov, the Glue, the Baksha, Farsa, Hayabusa, all together. Fantastic draft by Falcons. Fantastic way of being able to play it. They weren't reactive in-game. They were proactive compared to their reactiveness in the draft. You love to see it. It was a dominating game, but it was a game that the Falcons needed to potentially start their crawl back into this one.
That's true. It was really well needed, especially because you need that tempo. In the best of 7, like we mentioned earlier in the Infinite Keys to Victory, it's a test of endurance. And in order to pull something, you got to have some wins. You got to have some dubs. Even in life, you got to have those small wins so you can go and win the big picture. Right,
Yeah.
so I really like that for Falcons.
Yeah.
And we're also seeing a bit of evidence why a lot of teams really strayed away from the old drafts of regular season. Right, we're seeing evidence right here.
Yeah.
So I hope that we can see something very more similar to Falcons here. That's sticking to what they know as well and maximizing the heroes that we have. Like that glue is still really scary as well. I hope we see more of the glues, the Hayabusas today.
Oh, terrific game by the Falcon squad. Tlph, of course, MVP. Flcn on point with the centuries. Great timing alongside Ogwin. Few was a monster in this one. And, of course, Super Marco, we saw what he did.
That's right. So let's throw it over to our Champions Arena once more with Hans and Calusi. We got an interview lined up for you guys.
Maraming salamat sa ating panelists. It is Team Falcons getting a point. 2-1 ang ating score. But before we proceed with all of the matches, Calusi, I'm sure that we have an esteemed guest with us today. Everyone, please welcome from the Department of Tourism's, of course, that is none other than from the Director of Film and Sports Tourism, Director Roberto Alabado III. Direct Robbie, it's so nice to be here with you today.
Yes, good afternoon, and it's very exciting to be here also.
And, you know, honestly, dun sa napag-usapan natin kanina, right? I think this isn't your first time watching.
Oh, no. I was here in the M5.
M5 World Championship. Yes, yes. So, that was a really big moment para sa atin, being able to host something as big as that, right?
Yes, that was really big. Just imagine, a lot of people coming from all over the world, visiting the Philippines just to play and to see the matches here.
Well, we're definitely the strongest, Calusi, so that says a lot, right?
For sure, for sure. Direct Robbie, I wanna ask, how important is having these events for tourism? Lalo na pag sinabing MLBB, Pilipinas agad yun naisip.
Yes, ang kinakailangan kasi natin, in tourism, we're asking for reasons for people to travel. Kanina, may finisher kanina, galing pang La Union. They traveled, coming here, so that they can watch this. So we are always giving reasons for people to travel. That is tourism.
That's very great to hear. But how about esports as a whole, Direct Robbie? Where do you position esports now in terms of tourism?
Yes, in esports, we're looking at last month, I was with university sports coaches, mga sports directors, and I am so amazed that even universities right now here in the Philippines have their esports teams. So this is a very good exposure for all of us so that we can see the importance of esports. So they are having their own games on the university level, and mga universities and colleges. So this is, I think, a good way so that we can train and develop people so that we can have more world champions here in the Philippines.
You know, Direk Robbie, I want to know more about that. Because again, not only are we talking about, you know, esports, MLBB for tourism, but also sports in general, right? A lot of people are asking me, honestly, kailan ba mangyayari yung MPL sa Cebu? Kailan ba mangyayari yung MPL sa Davao, sa Boracay, sa Siargao? Is that something that potentially could happen in the future?
I would really welcome that because just think na pag umikot ang mga tao, like dito, ngayon nandito tayo sa Manila.
That's right.
What if next time nandun sa Cebu? People in Cebu, makikita mo mga taga Mindanao pupunta ng Cebu, Manila pupunta ng Cebu, and we have a lot of people traveling just to see the games. This is what we want in tourism. Kaya kung pwede po, eto ay akin ang hear it. Let's talk so that we can make this happen.
I like it. So I don't know if we have people from the Champions Arena who live from very far places at bumiyahe lang sila. Pero gaya nga kanina, di ba, La Union daw yung sabi?
La Union. And ang fun ng idea na, what if nga naman yung MPL Philippines sa iba't ibang lugar na tayo sa Pilipinas nga magkaroon ng ganito.
Right, we're never really sure, but Direk Robbie, I think that's for another conversation, and we are so happy to have you here with us once again. The ideas are tremendous, and we are going to be looking forward to that in the future. But now, let us get back to the games. This is still Team Liquid Philippines going up against Team Falcons. Panelists, it's your turn.
That's right, MPL Philippines in La Union. That's very interesting. Or Cebu.
Yeah,
Cebu's pretty good. Like, have really good internet too.
yeah, great internet in Cebu. They've got great establishments, a lot of awesome restaurants there.
Very picturesque
Yeah,
place.
very picturesque. If we ever end up in La Union, popular beach and surfing destination here in the Philippines. Imagine having a tournament there. That'd be wild. I mean, I don't think we'd be able to, you know, have the tournament on the beach itself.
No, probably
that
not.
would be a logistical, technical nightmare. But the fact that we're already there, you know, hopefully maybe we get to see go around the Philippines more. I mean, in Indonesia, they had a playoffs in Bandung last year. Last year. So hopefully we'll get something like that here in the Philippines.
Maybe somewhere up north as well. I know a lot of the big enthusiasts up north. Pampanga, Nueva Ecija, Bataan.
Yeah.
So many, especially Bataan is like literally the birthplace of so many strong pro players in the Philippines.
Yep.
Kyrie, Edward, and the likes.
Yeah, a lot of people there. I'd want to be able to go to the southern regions because it's cool there. As cool as this man's scalp is with clear.
Sheesh. And did you know that men actually get 5 times more dandruff versus women's scalp? So that's why you need specialized shampoos like Clear Men with triple anti-dandruff power for 100% dandruff-free hair.
Because no one understands men like Clear. Power up your dandruff scalp. Supercharged with Clear.
That's right. Big thank you to Clear for giving us a few of those as well. That's going to be my stock for like a few weeks.
Yeah, thanks. You helped me save up on my toiletries budget really well.
That's right. I really, it is effective. Like, not even kidding. Like, not just because they're sponsored. I use Clear a lot. So
yeah.
Big shout out to you, Clear. And I really hope that we can see more of more very beautifully scalped viewers. Just like that guy.
Beautifully scalped.
Beautifully scalped. Like,
I didn't know that. I didn't know that was an adjective.
Is that correct? I hope that's correct.
Yeah, I didn't know that was an adjective you could use. You know what? That's cool. Beautiful scalp means you have beautiful hair.
Beautifully. People with beautiful scalps. There you go.
Yeah.
That's better. But you know what? Speaking of beautiful people, so many people around the whole Philippines right now are actually tuned in and watching the MPL Philippines playoffs. We are in day number 4, and here we are, right? In all their form and glory. Oh my goodness, look at that.
We have watch fests going on all over the country in Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, the 3 major island regions here in the Philippines. And of course, it's just nice to have a quick look at, of course, at our PH and English casters desk and our PH panelists as well, with Midnight and Chantel being there. So MPL PH Watch Fest, you really just have to understand that this is a national thing in the Philippines.
That's right.
All over the country, people are watching. That we've set up opportunities for people to watch live if they couldn't make it here, all the way to Greensan, Makati. So shout out to everyone who is watching at our Watch Fests.
Yeah, for the longest time, usually these Watch Fests, MPL Philippines finals, playoffs, have always been the time when MPL players, ML players in general, would meet up with their squads and just see each other in real life.
Yeah.
So I hope that you're able to do that. Invite your friends over to your local Watch Fest and just have a lot of fun enjoying the MPL Philippines playoffs. Again, we are the best of the best, and usually the best of the best ranked gamers also meet up during this time.
Yeah, hopefully I don't run into any of the ranked gamers who increase my blood pressure in solo queue. No, I'm kidding. I'd love to meet you guys. I can teach you a thing or two. No, I'm kidding. I'm messing with
you. Are you actually kidding? Let's call in backup here for our draft for game number 4. Brigida is joining us.
Hello! I had so much fun waving at the watch parties earlier and seeing how hyped all the audience were, but this is what makes the entire evening exciting. It's Falcon securing a point against Team Liquid Philippines and us not going for a sweep.
Oh, you don't want us to go to a sweep?
I mean, I did vote for a Liquid, but I would not want the sweep in the lower brackets final.
Yeah, no one would want to sweep at this point. So far, though, our draft very similar to game number 3. Same picks. Is it going to be a Hayabusa and Farsa again for Falcons? Or going to... Oh, yeah, this is going to be the same one. Will it change here for Tlph, the third pick? They steal the glue. Great response by Liquid.
That's a great response. Honestly, just slowing down the durability of Falcons, because that was the biggest problem of OHEM earlier. That glue is, you know, it's so hard to really do it, especially if you have so many good frontliners up on that's absorbing all your Rhapsodies and Death Sonata hits.
Yeah, and at least now they have someone who can be that solid tank to just take up the damage from Team Falcons, especially considering that right now the damage distribution just looks too well yet again. Because earlier it felt like Team Liquid Philippines were relying too much on the setups. They had 2 heroes to go for setups, and once you put them in dangerous positions, it's just so hard for them to get out.
That man just put up a sign saying that he came all the way from the southern isles of the Philippines.
Wow.
Just to watch MPL. Thank you so much to the commitment of our community.
The real South. Yeah, that's a real South South peeps. So hopefully all of you are enjoying. We also have our cosplayers on venue.
Yeah, we do,
the
we do.
Yeehaw South of the Philippines.
Yeehaw South.
We don't get to see the Hanzo, by the way, but we see him now as a cosplayer.
Yeah, that's true.
Speaking of junglers, though, are they banning out the Ling again for Team Liquid Philippines?
I would highly suggest they do, but then again, they can just shift things up here in terms of the draft. That banning out the Ling means you're most likely. Whoa, they want the Ling?
Whoa!
What?
Is that a challenge?
Oh, hey!
Oh, this does not look good for Falcons right now.
Wait. What if we like bring it back to the days where you pair up a Mathilda with a very reliable utility jungler, you know?
Yeah.
Like an alpha?
It's either gonna be an alpha or a Fredrin, I feel like is what we were also thinking about here. So yeah, they could go tanky, put it all in the Granger basket. That would be a great draft for Team Liquid. Falcons need to respond and do. They gotta go tanky again, and I think Super Marco needs something that can move really well while dishing out basic attacks and can also survive.
So is that the Earthel?
That sounds like it, doesn't it?
It might not be enough in terms of the damage. However, they do have the high boost and force, and with it,
Kimmy?
might be okay. Kimmy?
Wait, they went for a Bea.
All right, there we go. I like that.
All right, not the gold laners we expected for sure. I love the Khaled as well. Big swap out. And it's like you guys were on point with that one. It's the Alpha jungle for Tlph.
Frightening early game. Team Liquid are leaning on their Liquid Stampede identity. While for Falcons, they do have a Khalid with them in the roam that could potentially set the tempo here. But this is not going to be as easy a game as game number 3. Up in the air for me, this one, but JP guesses Matilda. That might be the X factor.
Yeah, that's right. But again, very old school DNA. I know you guys missed the regular season alpha almost every game kind of thing. And Tlph is bringing that back with a little bit of flavor with the new and improved.
Yeah, you have to look at the Falcons rating though. Crowd control up the wazoo. And that might be the difference maker here. But again, it's a clue on the other side. Every time there's a clue, it's just always the X factor.
That's right. Let's load up into the game for game number 4. Falcons keeping it close. Let's go.
An old favorite makes its return to the Land of Dawn. Very little stats we have on Jungle Alphas, now making its way into the playoffs. Welcome to game number 4. Finally, Falcons on the board, but far from equalizing. This is a clash of titans. Ingan, is this the right time to bring out the Alpha again?
Yeah, if you pair it up, of course, with JP's Mathilda, could be a viable option for Tlph, especially as we approach the 8-minute mark. Things could go well for Tlph up against Team Falcons.
Yeah, and I feel like it's not just the Alpha that the Mathilda could work well alongside with. It's also the Jushin. If they want to like match Sanji and his aggression, then they can do just that because they'll get the Circling Eagle, they'll get the Guiding Wind so they can quickly get out of danger. And I feel like you could say the same for Sanford, right? We often see these kinds of duos wherein the XP laner just dives deep in the back lines, but there's someone to fetch him. There's someone to save him if ever he gets in a very dangerous position.
And the Wazoo is, I don't know if it's protected enough, is because there's only one Purify for Falcons. It's just few. So should they be targeting Marco? Is that the play here?
Yeah. Especially in the early game. Don't let Super Marco scale up early on. Carl TZ goes in with the ultimate. Paired up with Sanford there. They want to go for the first blood kill. Purify popped by Few and Tlph. They got what they wanted.
Yeah, they were clearly forcing a fight there. Even a pickup at most for Kyle TZ, but he got his level 4, so I feel like that was a bit of a signal too for Team Liquid Philippines to maybe maybe be a little more safe in terms of their next few decisions, because there is an upcoming objective and they definitely do not want to lose someone before that.
The aforementioned objective, the turtle, spawning in just a few up in the XP lane down here, bottom quarter of the map. Even without kills, I'd say Liquid is ahead here.
Yeah, especially with the way they're controlling the map right now. A lot of zone from JP and Sanford. Free turtle for Tlph. Let's see how Team Falcons will respond. What trades will they look for?
Wow, I feel like for now, none. They won't be getting anything. Tlph is still about to secure his purple buff. And all those resources burned by Team Liquid prior to that turtle were so worth it.
Yeah. Compared to game number 2, we don't see actually Few and Ogwin be as aggressive in the center of the map compared to what we witnessed in game number 2. So far, Tlph, Sanji, and JP, their combo again is slowly working for them, giving a lot of space for Oheb. And this is what Brigida is mentioning. Not just the Alpha will benefit from the Matilda, but also Oheb. Eventually, he'll stack up fast.
Yep, and a game that has Oheb losing a lot is a tough game to win for Liquid. And now it's clear, they're in control. Feather strike!
Everyone jumping in. Tlph goes in with the Owigi Shadow Kill. Sanji was able to Crimson Beacon out and sustain the damage. Again, no casualties. So far, 3 minutes in, no first blood.
Yeah, and they're allowing Oheb to do the double lanes. You like to see this for Team Liquid Philippines. One of the probably biggest factors for them establishing and carrying out the entire Liquid Stampede thing is when they're able to gain full control or dominance in terms of what we see along the mid and along the river side, which was something clearly that they were able to do in the first 2 games, but they lost it in game number 3, and you knew what happened.
We're on our way to actually witnessing a brand new kind of Liquid Stampede. They don't have to kill you. Still, no casualties, yet they're already approaching a 2,000 gold lead. Liquid is running through you, hitting hard, hitting fast, without having to kill. They're just getting what they want, then moving on.
Yeah. Having a lot of information, not giving Tlph a good time. So far, game number 3, Tlph started out strong. He even came to a point before 8 minutes. He was 5-0-0 already with Hayabusa.
Yeah, and for Team Liquid, they don't really need to... Oh, wait.
Just the damage from Ogwin. Forced out to use a Raging Sandstorm. Got caught out there by the Circling Eagle of JP for Sanji to be able to take him down. Tlph jumps in with a Shadow already with the Wiki Shadow kill. But just one Crimson Beacon was more than enough to save himself.
Fancy feat by Sanji. Didn't even need to use the flicker.
Yeah, and look at that. The first casualty we see in the game was actually just a punish. It was just Team Liquid Philippines reacting to seeing Ogwen all alone in that area. And now this could potentially be another free objective for them.
Yeah, Tlph again. Uncontested turtle take. So now Team Falcons, they might just go and default back to their usual strategy, feed a lot of resources for Super Marco, eventually help him scale up, and it's going to be Tlph and Ogwin to help them reach that point.
Oh, even if that is the plan for Marco, he's 1,000 behind from Oheb, already on his way to becoming the BPI rich guy of game number 4.
Oh yeah, and he first had to build that that Sea Halberd before anything else, because he knows how much they have to deal with in terms of Team Liquid and their overall sustain, but they're able to hold onto this turret. And at least for Team Falcons, they're not allowing Team Liquid Philippines to convert anything just yet into a turret.
That's right. On a fundamental level, Falcons is playing the right way. They know how to stem the bleeding, but again, it seems like Liquid is ready for this. Liquid is prepared to go slow but steady and still stampede through.
Yeah, and slow and steady wins the race. They now converted one objective, a turret takedown up top. And if you're going to look at the level gap between the junglers, 2 level gap already.
Oh.
Even if nothing's happening, Sanford jumps in again. Beautiful stun onto Marco, went to Tlph. Treating like this purple buff is a lord. There's a Shadow Bomb. Tlph might be able to take it still, but they stole it away.
Oh, they're barely allowing Tlph to get his hands on the purple buff. And that diminishes the threat you could feel from him. Be it in the gas, be it in the pickoffs, you know he doesn't have a purple buff.
And that was off of the back of a failed flicker grab. Sanford didn't get to press it. I guess there wasn't enough stacks on the targets, yet they still got away with it. Tlph coming in!
Jumping in, forced out Super Marco's dash and flicker. So a major resource expended already for the side of Team Falcons. Meanwhile, Oheb having the time of his life. Every single lane, he's there pushing turrets.
Big money, big XP, force and Few out of here. A Sonata almost lethal.
Fortunately, Flcn was able to block it out, but JP jumps in from the back to deliver the final blow onto Few. JP might fall down here, but he stays alive as Owen jumps in to make sure to take him down. A Wiki shadow kill finally for Tlph to trade out Sanji.
We've only seen 4 kills so far in the past 7 minutes, but it feels like we've already seen so much. Though this is the 3rd consecutive turtle that'll go into the hands of Team Liquid, so that's an easy 5K gold lead for them already.
Throughout those sequences, I'm talking about the past minute, Kyle hasn't farmed anything. He had to be on guard and be ready to join fights. What did that lead to? Tlph maintaining his XP lead. We're approaching a 3K XP lead here. And again, I don't even want to talk about gold lane, man. Oheb is out farming Super Marco like crazy. This is the Baby X duo at work!
Another jump in from Tlph. Just for the Spear of Alpha, they force out the Raging Sandstorm. Now immediately transitions to the middle lane to take it down. A Wiki shadow kill, not enough damage. Sanford latches on to Flcn. Even if this is a backshot, they might be able to bring him down and face the kill off to Oheb. Owen might be the next target here. That's Sonatas again for Tlph, and they converted those kills into objectives.
Yeah, you're starting to feel how Tlph definitely know that they're running out of time. They have to make things quick because Super Marco is one of those, he's on one of those heroes that you will have a terrible time fighting up against if you do reach the late game.
And we are at the mid game, the cusp of the Lord coming through. In about 40 seconds, Lord will spawn in the lower quarter. And again, the map just doesn't agree and align with Falcons. It's a shame that Few can't wings by wings from bush to bush, that Flap can't just roll up in the bushes, because they have to protect their cores.
Yeah, and apart from that 3 consecutive neutral objectives, they had to concede because of the spike of an Alpha paired up with a Matilda. And now they might even be able to pop an energy shield down bottom and take away the orange buff. They take away Tlph, immediately disintegrated him down to the ground. Perfect timing, 15 seconds, Lord is up.
That's what I'm talking about. Again, #1 GPM and DPM all season long. #2 total kills. That's a season MVP for season 15. Oheb.
And how did Tlph suddenly disappear like that? We barely see any kills.
There was no Skypiercer stacks.
There were no Skypiercer stacks, but he just got deleted with a Rhapsody. So that just goes to show how much ahead Oheb is already in terms of his farm, in terms of his items.
Now Tlph capitalizing on that lead by taking away every single jungle creep that they can see. Tlph stuck at level 11 compared to Tlph, who's level 14, so automatically Team Falcons have to concede this unless they go for the trade kills instead.
I think that is the wise thing to do. Falcons, just let it go. Just commit to defending. You are built to defend. You have the high ground advantage. You have good firepower to do just that. 8K now ahead, Liquid Philippines. And alone on Oheb, alone, 3,000 over Super Marco. Tell his coach, tell his mom, tell people online, he's got a lot of money.
He has money. We're not gonna believe whatever he said in the past anymore. It's different now, and it's gonna be easier for Team Liquid Philippines to make use of this lord that they secured, because they've already pretty much taken out some of the holy shields that are still intact for Team Falcons. Fortunately for them, they still have the one in mid, and they have Super Marco. You know how reliable the Bennett Rage, that Nibiru's Passion, is gonna be when it comes to wave clear.
Yeah, but the thing is, Tlph's dive-centric lineup can always disrupt the Feathered Airstrike and the ults that can come from the Beatrix, especially with the lead that they have. There goes the ultimate from Beatrix. Thankfully are the Lord.
Shield popped in mid, but Falcons take care of business. In comes Tlph, shadow kill.
Yeah, it's the Wiki shadow kill to be able to clear out the minions, but immediately Flcn got deleted. The cavalry respecting the damage of the Feathered Airstrike, but they were able to pop all energy shields.
Not even the backshot felt tanky enough. And now they're gonna transition to the mid lane. Oh, look at Sanji!
Even Sanji goes in with the Crimson Beacon to zone out Team Falcons. Base now exposed. Super Marco able to clear it out, but there's minions onto the bottom lane. Oheb gonna make sure to bring down the turret.
And down it goes. 2 lanes exposed. Falcons have to defend. If in the mid game it was dire, now approaching the late game, I don't know what the worst is over worst, because that is what they're staring down. A 12K gold lead approaching.
Oh, Flcn. Trying to zone out and size up Tlph.
I think at best it's a successful raging sandstorm into a Bennett's Rage for Super Marco and the Feathered Airstrike, but so far, Team Liquid Philippines, they're not allowing themselves to be put in such a position!
The Lantern Flare from Sanji was just too much. In an instantaneous burst there for Tlph, just an 11.5k gold lead.
I'd hate to say it, but we're throwing back to 2022, early 23. A slow-paced stampede.
Sanford again with the flicker in. They caught Kyle Teasy, feeds off the kill to Oheb. A double for the MVP. And match point for Team Liquid Philippines.
Precision macro put on display by the first seed of the regular season in Season 15. Team Liquid Philippines 1 game away from going to the grand finals.
Such a carefully executed, such a clean way, and probably a different version indeed of the entire Liquid Stampede.
I'm not comfortable with this. Remar Rockhart, how'd they do that?
That match point was super, super quick. I mean, they figured out something very early on in that game, and they did not let go.
Yeah, again, it was just a remix of the previous draft, except this time around, Tlph drafting on the red side, changing things up greatly. They went for the Glue third pick, then Matilda Alpha last 2 picks. Now, when it's a lineup that has an assassin versus a lineup that's focused for the fighter utility jungle, then the assassin lineup is willing to give up the early turtles, the first 2 ones, because you're going to try to get ganks elsewhere, get wins elsewhere, but Team Falcons just could not get that. Or, if you are confident enough to play better than the opposing team, then you're going to try to take it to them to the skirmishes. But the skirmishes that we saw that led to 0 kills for a long amount of time meant that this guy got the farm up so easily. This was textbook old school utility jungle playstyle by Team Liquid Philippines that meant that they fed into their carry, their gold laner, their regular season MVP to take control of this game quick.
1011 GPM. Definitely got money in the bank. And with 100% KP as well, basically filling out the whole graph. He did everything that was necessary for Tlph to actually get into it. And yes, you can confirm, he's got money. You can ask for it. You can ask for money.
He is the rich guy. I mean, not the BPI rich guy, but he probably will be. Okay, so for Falcons, now their lineup was, again, their choice. They decided to keep drafting the same way. It was Team Liquid Philippines setting the tempo in the second phase with their Glue third pick. There is a realm where they could have gotten this win, but it was more difficult to get there compared for Team Liquid Philippines. Again, the reason why the utility fighter jungle playstyle dominated for so long, especially when it's paired up with a strong support roamer, is because it's easier to pull off. The lineup that Falcons has, compared to the lineup of Team Liquid Philippines, is more difficult to pull off. And especially when it's empowered by a really good and strong EXP laner with great crowd control that breaks formations in the glue, then Team Liquid Philippines definitely had this in the bag at the end of the draft. With the way that they played, yeah, it was just way too tough for Falcons to control.
That's right. And despite the lineup with Falcons looking like it could give you a good fight at the very late game, with that Matrix and Super Marco, we were not given an opportunity to actually witness that. Bearing that is a 12-minute and 13-second game. So there was just no way for this lineup to shine. Few was the closest that we could get to see Falcons putting up a fight against Tlph. But then again, he was consistently getting dove on non-stop. Lantern flares over his head. It was just so hard to actually get things done by the Sparsa.
Yeah, this was a fantastic game by Sanford, Carl Teasy, Sanji, and JP to set everything up for OHEB. The rotations of Team Liquid Philippines, really good. They were able to invade the jungle at the right amount of times. They weren't forcing things to happen because they knew naturally they had the easier lineup to pull off again, the deadlier lineup, because they literally, one ultimate from the Alpha changes the picture of a team fight for Team Falcons. Even though they have the counter in the Feathered Airstrike, that's pretty much it. Kaltizi can only do so much with the damage of his Shadow Kill, especially, as you see, he did not even scratch 20,000 damage dealt in this game. Only 18,327 because of the shields provided by the Matilda. And confirmed, he does have money.
He does have money.
1,011 GPM, crazy.
That's the highest GPM we have so far in the playoffs. I think the closest was like 940 something by King Kong. So this is absolute masterclass of how to use that Granger. Again, nerf to the ground as much as you want, but you know what? You can never nerf the player. He is the Filipino sniper.
Yeah, this is the great thing about the meta, honestly. In the post that I made before the playoffs, this meta right now rewards creativity and flexibility. This was one of the main conditions here for Team Liquid Philippines. Show your adaptability to survive, because this is the meta where assassins and fighters in the jungle equally thrive. All right, so we're back on the screen right here, and I think it was very clear what happened. Falcons just had a more difficult lineup against a lineup that's literally 2 button presses away from being able to win the major objectives. Falcons, understandably so, in their chances to find wins in the early game, decided to back off when they needed to. Again, the thing that you really need to respect against a lineup that has a Matilda with it, the shields, that is such a game changer. And it took a while for Falcons to get their major defense items, healing reduction items, as heroes on the hands of the likes of Tlph and even Ogwen had to go for a different build path. No major objectives on the side of Falcons. Everything went Team Liquid's way. Just a slow climb up for Team Liquid to dominate. And again, the age-old relationship between a lineup that has an assassin center core against a fighter center core. And the thing about Alpha is, you think of him as a utility fighter type of jungle, but the man, Cyberman, I guess you could call it. Yeah, he is a cyborg. Deals true damage. So it's like it's like an assassin as well that's tanky, that has strong spell vamp, paired up with a Matilda. Crucial point here, of course, in the 5 to 7 minute mark. If Falcons were able to get a win there, could have been a different story, but they just could not. Let's follow the path here of Super Marco compared to Ohen. 6 minutes, was able to build up